rude.
Yeah, they are. I see a hand and then just slowly, gingerly going towards the garlic bread.
I like how Kayla's on top of the garlic bread.
Yep.
Nice.
That is how the dragon will be one day. The dragon is the garlic bread.
It's a battle!
If it's a fight against this party against garlic bread, the garlic bread is not a fight.
Doesn't stand a chance.
It will be gone in 5 seconds.
If you put cheese in it, you could say the wand had something to do with it.
It did.
Right, okay.
I'd burn it.
So last time,
Last time.
a lot of law stuff happened basically, and so much law stuff. I don't think I'll be able to get into it, but you mostly remember the general premises, so you're going to maybe go through it again.
I can pretty much remember.
So Amy used to work with all the apprentices that are now heads of their own magic institutions, so she has a general idea of what's going on there, except her memory is being tempered with, which is her archive is even being tempered with, which she was annoyed with, which is why she left. Lesher, one of the other apprentices, went off on her own. You also learned that Flint, a side character that you've heard of from before,
Yeah, the Sata.
from the Sata, yeah, from
It's
Jules.
called Jules.
Jules. He was with the adventuring party with Flint in the alternate
Oh,
reality.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
alternate
my bad
reality.
then.
You also learned that Juanita technically is from an alternate reality as well. Probably well, you assume the same one as Jules, because she was there as it was collapsing. What else did you do? Talked about a little bit of her notes, which she found out mostly from the Black Pen. She's deciphered most of it. The tome she's still going through, but she understands the general premise of it. The idea was you guys need to figure out what you're doing with your feats, basically, while she works on trying to find a rift where the Seekers are.
Remind us who the Seekers are.
The crystalline people. So Jugel hinted or said basically that they may have more information, basically, because even he doesn't have specifics.
They said it was like potentially in Feywild or Shadowfell, didn't they?
He said his specific wording was they're not of this plane.
Correct.
So so Amy summarised they're either in the Shadowfell, the Feywilds, or they're abusing a rift somewhere.
Yeah.
So she said she can look into the rift stuff,
Yeah.
which is what she's going to do over the next couple of days.
And the one place we knew a rift was has now closed, if I remember.
That was a
Yeah.
gateway.
Oh, it was a gateway,
Right.
my bad, okay.
The rifts
Which
are
was closed, isn't it?
Yeah, she confirmed that it's been closed. She said the hacking magic sort of fizzled away, basically. So it wasn't a permanent effect. That was basically probably only one opportunity to go to the Feywilds, basically.
Well, in hindsight.
Well, in hindsight. Yeah.
What if we take Derek back then?
I don't think he can use hack magic.
The bowl can use hag magic.
I can, but you'd have to figure out what was.
Just put blood in until the rift opens.
Would it have been hag blood or?
Let's find the hag and find out.
We let one go last time.
Sorry?
We just let her walk out. The red hag that we summoned.
Yeah, we could find the red hag she owes us. We brought her into the world.
She's teleported
No,
away.
technically you displaced her from a desert land, and she was pissed off, and she just walked off. Because literally, you guys were like, "We're not gonna fight you," and then she was just like, "Fuck you," and just walked off. Like you literally took her, so she's probably trying to find her way back, basically, to wherever that is.
I feel sorry for the old entry exit woman and bloody Finrasta. Just a hag wandering out.
I think at this point she's used to it, so she's probably got a sixth sense of who's trouble and who's not, which is probably why she was like, "No, get away." To you.
Aww.
I'd
say Ty's feelings were hurt, but she doesn't have them.
Diana and Tarviel are making an alliance as well, from what you recall, to try and tear down the Blacken family. But Miss Wundler she says she's not going to report it to them, but she's a silent observer, so she's not helping either.
And I got us access to level 4.
Yeah,
That's the last thing.
Yeah.
I bargained with her.
Yeah, and Wunder's giving you access to level 4. But it would be under...
her name.
No, it's Tarviel's name.
Okay.
Because if Miss Wundler invited guests over, people would start asking questions. But in Tarviel's case, he's a smith by trade. you make weapons, it makes sense that he would invite you.
It's only logical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, great.
Okay, so we're still in the room. You're all having your gatto. It's just been served to you.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh, chocolate.
Don't like gatto. Something else.
Amy sort of like crossed her hands over like this with everything that's gone on, and she's like, "Oh well, we've got a lot to think about, haven't we?" And she's like, "Does anybody have any burning questions?"
Burning?
When do we get more gatto? The stuff is lovely. Just no.
She turns to the other high elf and she goes, "Would you be a dear, please?" And then she turns and she goes, "Yes, I'll get another slice for the little miss." And she says, "No, it's better if you bring out just 2 whole cakes."
Done.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was like, "Yeah." So she sorted that out for you. She says, "If you don't have any other burning questions, all I can do is just share information with you, I suppose." So as you guys now know, my official name is Viola. I worked with some of the higher brass of the royal capital. So I know Avenia personally. I know Pandora somewhat personally. Seymour is very secretive, even with those he worked with. So I only know little bits. And I know what the butler looks like.
You do?
He was there with.
No one said. You said no one's seen the butler.
The king.
Nobody's seen the king and nobody's seen the butler. The butler is usually with the king. However, when she went into the meeting 20 years ago, the butler was standing in front of the curtain, or she assumes it was the butler. It was a strong pet presence felt, basically. So she assumed. I believe he was a seeker, which is a bit
Weird.
odd.
Carry on.
Yeah, so I don't really know.
Of the carriage.
I don't really know what to say about that. He looked very deadly. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I wouldn't have messed with him. Well, back then I was significantly weaker. Now I might stand a chance.
Who? I'm sorry?
She says Amy might stand a chance against fighting him now in her current state. But back then she wouldn't have.
No.
I don't think you'd be able to fight anyone without any physical or offensive abilities.
She says I have troubles with some opponents. So she starts going over Pandora. Pandora is highly intelligent. Her background was that about 40, 50 years ago, the king was looking for more intelligent people to work with. People who thought outside the box. So the only natural thing for him to do was to steal 100 orphans and see what they thought. She says, she goes, yeah, it's not the natural thing, but apparently. So he asked each child individually, they did tests. Pandora...
What did he answer?
Basically things... I don't know the specifics, but it had something to do with...
Well, when you asked?
leg... No, I wasn't there. 50 years ago, I would have been... I was inducted... I was inducted 40 years ago, so it was 10 years before my time.
Okay. So what you're saying is the test changed over time?
No, I wasn't tested, she said.
Oh, okay.
They just saw my archive and they just wanted me.
Huh.
So Pandora apparently was asked the question, how would you attain a legacy, immortality, leave your imprint on the world? Her reply was the natural way, which is just to carry on the legacy through your children. This interested whoever was asking the questions, because apparently she was a young child that she knew the concept of mortality, which at age 5, 6 you wouldn't be thinking about stuff like that. Through that experimentation, apparently that's how she got her baby, because that was her idea. Her abilities, other than that, she has a displacement ability, which I don't know the full logistics of how it works, but she can teleport herself things. Doesn't matter how big or small.
I think we discovered that.
Yeah, and well, no, that was the gun. She says.
Yeah, where they left in a hurry.
Yes.
Oh, but the meteorite.
Yeah, that was the gun.
Oh, the gun brought that.
Yeah.
Oh, so she can do that again.
It looks like she's still tearing the enchantments off the gun, basically. Since it's a soul weapon, essentially, it's very difficult for not the person, the original owner, or the gun that chooses the owner, but obviously didn't choose Pandora. But Pandora has the intelligence to manipulate it.
Do you know who the original owner of the weapon was?
I'm afraid not. But like, soul weapons are very difficult to explain. As you've got one, you know how it is. Yeah, exactly. It's very dangerous actually that she's got a displacement ability and the gun has a displacement ability as well. So in theory, if she gets full control of it, she could be anywhere and anywhere and make meteorites fall or scry randomly all the time.
Great. Huh. It's that end of the world event we were talking about.
Oh.
That sounds like she has the power to
While your
destroy
balls
whatever
leave
she
the
needs to destroy.
Destruction probably not. The destruction is caused by the effect of her ability. So if you stop the effect of her ability, in theory, you stop the destruction.
I was thinking how dangerous it is to be able to teleport so much, so freely.
Oh no, there is a cost to it. She said the cost of it is apparently a memory of hers.
Well, she can't have that many memories.
From what I was told, and Pandora's quite open-mouthed about this. She's not very secretive. Say she teleports herself, and an item that she likes. It doesn't cost that much of a memory.
Okay.
So there's not really a whole lot of cost. In fact, sometimes it doesn't even cost anything. As long as it's herself and an item she's attached to, it's fine. Things get more difficult when, say for example, she's teleporting a person.
So in terms of that, it's a little bit like me doing this.
Yes. But she can go anywhere. Her personally can go anywhere she pleases with any weapons that's attached to her,
Does
basically.
she have to been there before, or
No.
Wow, that's a bit strong.
She does have to be careful because if she hasn't been there before, she might randomly teleport into a rock or something. So, but then again, she has the ability to teleport out of the rock. So all she's got to do is hold her breath, and in theory, she'd be able to be like, nope, nope, no, and eventually she'd be where she wants to, basically.
10 for foot.
how severe are the memories? If she can she just forget how she got there as a choice?
There is some choice involved, but it's very based on her feelings. So, like for example, like I said, herself favorite items or weapons attached to her don't usually have a cost. But maybe something like if she was teleporting a person that she's emotionally attached to or a person that she needs, it may cost something higher. If she's trying to teleport a weapon of mass destruction, she says, that's probably got a high cost as well. If she's trying to teleport a whole army, that's probably got a huge tax on it as well. So the way she said was, she was teleporting her friend, she might forget things like what she had for breakfast, maybe a sentence she said previously in the day, like a reply to a conversation. Mm-hmm. If she was teleporting a caravan, she'd probably forget like how to tie her shoelaces or something like that. So on and so forth. If she was teleporting a whole army, she would probably lose probably about a month of her memory somewhere. Yes.
So what we really need to do is goad her into teleporting something really stupid, and she'll just end up some dribbling mass.
She's, from what I heard, she's on that way. She's already becoming slowly mentally deprived.
Well, one memory I'm sure she'll keep is Offlin.
No.
No?
She's completely forgotten about him.
Oh.
She that was one of the memories that she was freely giving up. It apparently caused her so much grief and pain.
Could she? You said she was a tinker, right? So if we were to interrogate her for how she made something, she might be telling the truth because she might have told herself to forget how to make it, just to protect anyone else from copying.
In theory, that could work as well. She does keep a journal as well, just in case.
Good.
So
Journals are good.
So just if we ever end up interrogating her for whatever reason,
Give me a journal.
don't. Probably it's best to believe everything she says because she's kind of got limited.
Well, that's a little bit
limited ideas.
naive. Don't believe everything she says.
But you just got to be aware that she
She's
could have generally could have forgotten.
Carrying on, Seymour is the next problem, or the next strongest. He was very secretive. I know he's a wizard of some sort, and I know his specialty deals with life and death magic.
He's the one that wanted the children, right? The slaves.
He, from what I've heard, yeah, I wouldn't know why he'd want that though. I don't understand the concept of his magic. Basically, he was very secretive. But all I know is, basically, he was involved in the birth of Pandora's child, basically. So Alessia and him did a combination of skills and abilities to make Flint alive again.
Me neither.
I don't want to know what happens in a room.
Alessia was essentially the person that raised me, so I know her the most about her. She was... Pandora, although could have kind moments, she was very bipolar. She could be nice one day and horrible the next. Seymour wouldn't be nice to you or talk to you unless you had something that he wanted, or information, or you were working with him, or he found you useful. Lesha was more kind-hearted, and she was probably the most she had the highest morale of everyone there. So she had a moral compass, essentially. Her abilities were essentially used more in healing people. She was more of the pacifist, but the king wanted her on side because her ability is that miraculous. Basically, she can heal just by looking at people. She can regenerate just by looking at people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, is she missing in this reality, or is she here in this reality and dead in the other?
She retired. We don't know where she is.
Is she dead?
I honestly don't know. She was an avatar, so technically she is immortal.
Was an avatar, so you can't stop being an avatar.
Yeah, by becoming an angel.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, not really much going on there, she said. She was a nice person, that's all I can say. She was my mother. I might be a bit more biased.
Why were you all working together? What was the reason for your group to exist?
So, that's got a bit of a backstory to it. So, I'll carry on and then I'll tell you the backstory. Avenia is the final one that I know somewhat about.
Mm-hmm.
She's technically my grandmother.
Oh.
So she raised Lesha, and then Lesha raised me.
Yeah.
She's got no divine energy, however she's somehow immortal, or seems immortal. Whenever I brought up the question, she usually just brushed it off. Didn't really want to discuss the specifics. Her ability is quite scary, as in she can be all classes at the same time. So she can use monk abilities, she can use sorcerer abilities, she can use wizard abilities. I don't know the specifics of it because I haven't seen it much in action, because herself is already imposing force. But I do know the cost was that she feels everything twice as hard. So
the weakness essentially is I am everything, but oh god, I hurt.
Emotionally and physically. So if you make her angry, she's furious. If you make her sad, she's crying.
Sounds like most women.
Did you say that? And physical pain as well does double damage.
But if you make her happy, you make her joyous.
She copes with the emotional side of things because she's always been a logical person, so she can keep her emotions in check. And I believe she does keep her she does have a concoction that her and Lesher came up with that does keep her somewhat emotionally sedated.
Oh, well.
Ah.
But physically, you can't stop double damage, basically. So she says she just stops the damage from happening by having enough protection, basically.
If she's immortal, this power, this godly power, and she's not divine based, could she be demonic or devilish?
Oh.
That is a theory. However, I do have some knowledge on devils and fiends. They do have mortal tendencies, but eventually they do die. They're just long-lived. There is a couple of exceptions. Like, for example, I believe the highest demon, one of the highest lord demons, are technically immortal. Basically, the person stands on top, basically.
Demon princes, right?
Yes. Nobody goes there, so I only know a little. I do know there is a king presiding there, and he sort of does dealings with halal.
You need to ask your guy about that.
You come from the Shadowfell. The stories of demons and devils are quite
Next
common.
time he calls, give him a...
Yeah, but in this plane, they're very like intermediate level. Think they have intelligence, but they're not all-knowing.
But who knows if they're from this plane? Like I said, all these rifts and everything.
There are potentials for rifts. As you said, there are princes. I do know about them, but they don't interact with outside the Shadowfell. They've got their own hierarchy there. It's very weird. As is all political things, she says. Strongest on top is best, really. I'm trying to think what else she'd say. Your question about our backstory. Avenia has been there since the beginning, before the king,
Wow.
before anyone really. I don't know how long she's been there for, but she said at one point that she's lived so long that she just doesn't care anymore. We're talking millennia, basically. We're talking.
Is she possibly one of the people that would remember 250 years prior?
She probably does. I have inquired about it, but she doesn't like talking about it. It's a bit of a... Even while sedated, if you mention the war to her, she does become a bit erratic.
Okay.
So we learned not to ask that. Let's just say this. She did almost wipe out half the capital when I asked her who her mother was.
Oh, Jesus Christ, and why would she do that? It's a simple question.
She could have been the queen. Mother could have been the queen.
Or she could be the queen.
Yes, it's all very...
If she was there before the king, not that she didn't sort of summon the king in some sense of shape or form.
The stories say that the king killed or took over from the queen. I can't remember.
It's been said that the king killed the queen.
Ah. But then why would she work for the king if she knows that the queen was killed by him?
We don't know how powerful this king is.
I mean, that's also true. We don't know if he's actually really there.
Well, we know that he's from...
There's no solid evidence to
ultimate
say that he was,
reality.
is there?
I met a person who said he was the king, she said.
Person.
Yes. So...
Or was it just a voice?
Didn't you say he was...
Behind the curtain. There was...
Exactly. It was
but
a voice behind the curtain. That's not to say that there was actually anybody there.
Me and Lesher would no. I was somewhat weaker, so they could have tricked me with an illusion, a high-level illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Lesher, on the other hand, is an avatar. She'd probably be able to see through that.
Probably.
Seymour is a wizard, and Pandora has a high-level intellect. It would take something substantial to fool the four of us combined.
What if that's the trick? You were fooled, they were not. That's why they're still with them.
So you're saying there's someone there that can fool me by tampering my archive?
Indeed. But they were tried to be tampered with, but wasn't successful.
Are you saying they're better than me?
I'm not saying or implying anything. I'm merely putting a theory on the table.
I do like theories, she does. A few glaring daggers.
Game theory.
Other than that, and the other thing I can share with you is how divine stuff works on this plane. Diana and I have the theory element of it, but Diana has more of the feels with it when she's in the room with us. Yeah, so she knows it from experience.
Yeah.
So she says the combination of us two could explain
What?
how things work.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
some of you in this room are touched. That's a term that we give. Gods hand you blessings.
More than one way.
Yes. What this means is every once in a while you may be able to ask the god a favour and they may answer, they may not answer. Normally when you pray to gods they don't answer. Just having the chance of being answered is a good thing. Other than that, there is no clause to it. You just every once in a while you do favours for them, they do favours for you. It's a scratch my back, scratch your back technicality. As a touched, when you get to the end of your life cycle, you may be asked to become an avatar. It's very rare though. Avatars tend to be people that are devout from the beginning. Like for example, Diana has special circumstances. You have special circumstances. You are on your way to be an avatar. And the terminology is avatar and waiting. You're so devout that it's sealed, basically. The fact that she can interact with the god, not through visions, but through word, is proof of that.
Wow.
So you will be invited to become an avatar on your death, basically.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Or you may turn into an avatar, she says, because if you've got a soul weapon, you are slowly becoming divine yourself.
Oh.
It's the opposite of a corruption, basically. She says it's a blessing. She says, smiling at you. Yes, that's why I'm smiling at you. Good luck with that.
Never know if true immortality is good or not.
Yes, I've heard things of immortality. Once you become an avatar, you become immortal. You apparently get a new body. You become immortal. Also, with the new body, you also get a new mind. So your mind becomes more clear and more open. You can take more and more information.
Are you an avatar? No.
No.
Because you've got your archive.
Yes.
Do you align with any god in particular?
No, I don't like them, she says.
Makes two of us.
That's very generalised.
Um,
Have you met them all?
I've met Baka once or twice. Didn't like him.
Yeah, you're an elf, you don't like much.
Couldn't make his mind up.
Hmm?
He couldn't make his mind up.
He was indifferent about a lot of things. Let's just put it that way. He was interested in my archive ability. I declined his invitation. Let's just put it that way. I don't like to be messed around with. I'm in control of what I do. Once you become an avatar as well, you can go beyond your mortal coils. So from a mechanic standpoint, you can go above level 20.
Oof. Yes, please. Oh, live forever.
Touched in rare change chances don't go above level. They never go above level 20. Whereas a touched, you may be able to get a boon, which is like a blessing.
Yes.
But you'd have to get to that point to ask for the boon. But with avatars, they just go. It just becomes innate to them. Once they get to a certain strength point, they know enough information. It's said when you become immortal and you've got a divine clause attached, you lose one sense of self. You become more and more similar to the god that you're serving. So, for example, if you're an avatar of Trom, you become more lawful. If you're an avatar of Halal, you become more chaotic and creative.
That's possible.
You don't become the god themselves, you take on their traits. And it's said that two avatars that serve the same god that have lived for a couple of thousand years, you kind of can't tell the difference other than maybe subtle quirks. They look different, but they act very similar. After that, at the end of their life cycle, the avatars also have life cycles, they may then be invited to become an angel, which then means they can go to and from their god's plane, serve them, and become essentially a mouthpiece for their god.
There's not many of them then.
There's a handful, she says.
You'd be surprised.
Trom has one. Apparently, Trom
What
is...
is... What?
You'd be surprised.
And do why?
Other realmly things. I've heard stories.
And what stories then? I'm sure Amy'd like them too.
Well, from the plane from where my parents are from, avatars and angels are completely different. An avatar is a show of the god's power, but an angel is a loyal guardian who is basically the protector of the god and does not leave and come to the plane whenever they protect the
They
plane
are
they're from.
always there.
Yeah.
Huh.
They sound lovely.
Yeah. It depends on the angel. Trom's got one. Apparently, he is with the Seekers. That's all I know.
Oh.
During the war, Trom gave him the task, his angels, the task to protect the Seekers.
Oh, so the Seekers are divinely protected.
We don't know what happened.
Okay.
What else is there? She says. Aetherius is an angel, a twin brother. Other than that, I don't know of any, she says. Aetherius is an avatar, which we know of Lesher. I believe there's an avatar of Moradin with the elves. Not with the elves, with the dwarves.
With dwarves?
Yes.
Ah, that's someone I'd like to get in touch with.
One day, she says.
Ooh.
There's an avatar of Zero that you've met in Grandoza.
Yeah, we did. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Don't let her touch your hands.
Sorry?
Don't let her touch your hands.
Yeah, and it's really weird.
It was weird.
Other than that, I don't really know much, she says. They're very far and few in between. Obviously, since the gods have been trapped, they're becoming less and less of a thing.
Halal, that's the problem.
Halal is not trapped, and neither is Aetherius, but Aetherius is damaged. No,
Of course he
damaged.
is. He's the god of indifference. He's useless, isn't he? I'm saying that. What use is a god that's indifferent?
Kira's giggling a little bit.
Because he's not on the playing field per se, it means that you can use his gifts more freely. He is the god of magic. That is his.
So because he hasn't chosen a side, anybody can take it.
Yes, in theory.
I guess that's kind of useful.
It's fair, she says. Evens the playing field, she says. Well, more, it depends how talented you are.
That convinces me.
She looks directly at you.
No. I'm gonna put a bullet through her soon. Please don't make me become evil in this campaign too.
Oh.
Please don't insult me. Insults lead to pain.
Oh.
And then she turns to you and goes, "Oh, you know something about talent, don't you?"
What does he know about talent?
What
Well,
is-
I don't.
I mean,
Can you make these?
with enough time, yes.
Oh, with time.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Everything takes time.
It does, but when you know how to do it, it's done, isn't it?
She just looks at you blankly and she goes, "I'll let you have your toys for now."
Is this Viola or Miss Wonderland?
What?
Is this Viola or Miss
Oh no, Amy. This is Amy Viola, yes, talking. Miss Wondler has been quiet the entire time.
Chaotic evil in my other one.
You can do wonderful things if you aim at it.
I think the change has happened.
Oh, and Diana then talks to you and says about possession, basically, but you already know the basics. Long story short, if you are willing, that is the clause. You have to. There's a verbal agreement involved.
Can they ever take control even if you're not verbally allowing?
The only exception is if they care enough for them and their life is in danger, which is extremely rare.
Sure. So they'll let you die. Good.
Unless you're really important to them.
Okay.
They will let you die though, yes.
Not so surprisingly selfish.
That could be a good thing or a bad thing in these circumstances. I don't really want to find out.
When you become possessed, you literally take on the divine energy of the god that's possessing you. They take over your body essentially, and they can channel their divine energy through you. There are some limitations, like for example, if the god using your body doesn't limit their divine energy, they may accidentally
Burn the body out.
Yeah, or shred the. Say for example, you throw a necrotic energy ball, like in the case of Drigel, her arm might just literally be torn off.
Cool.
Ow.
That sounds.
It depends on the ability they're using. Maybe if they jump in the air really, really, really high and really, really hard, your limbs might explode. Something like that.
So
she said.
possession
Seems like
is
a lot of
dangerous.
Possession is like a bare minimum. I need to do shit basically, and it needs to be done now.
Yeah.
It's not something to be used.
I have snowfall, it's fine.
So we've seen that. So that's what happened with the meteorite thing. Is oh shit, we need to do something. Fucking let me in, please.
Yes, that's what happened essentially.
And if
She left the ring long before the meteor.
If Drigel,
That's when Pandora turned up.
That was the problem that needed dealing with.
so yeah, if you hadn't let her use your body, things might not have gone so swimmingly.
Yeah. this city might not quite still be where it is
it
now.
might be flatter.
Flat Rasda.
It was a joint effort.
Right, so
I did fuck all.
so other than that, by the way, the two gattos have been sitting in front of you for a while.
The two what,
So,
sorry?
two gattos.
I would've been-
I just presumed that you just got on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's too sweet, no thank you.
I said you were
We couldn't
probably
get this in the woods. This is amazing.
you're probably balls deep in that shit.
Yeah.
For lack of
I
better
wonder if
words,
Ron will
guess.
like some.
Ron is with you.
Ron came with me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember
That's
he
the
was
other
Derek made a drone for him and you told him to take him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
What do you know about him?
Well, Derek.
Mm.
And Derek sort of times him and goes, yeah, I'm Derek.
Yes, Derek, congratulations.
Fiona doesn't like Derek very much, do you remember?
And I do, but that was as Amy. That was Viola. Or
Yeah,
is there no
they did try
real
making-
difference?
well,
There's no real
Derek did try
difference.
So he's still a bitch.
She,
So there's a massive shift in personality, she's always a bitch.
So you're still a bitch.
I'm
Shit.
gonna try feeling
I said it in
one
character, yeah, the first bit before that bit. Or is there no real difference and you're still a bitch? Uh-oh, he's writing something down. I don't know if I like this.
It's scary.
Message, oh god!
Roll for creating a new character? That's a 3.
Well, I know what I'm creating. I've got my backup for this one, it's fine, we talked about it.
nah, she just shrugs it off.
Ah,
I
boo!
she doesn't really take.
Well, 46 6 times is the response.
She doesn't.
Death.
She doesn't take interest in the wailings of a small man.
Does she say that out loud? That's
No, that's
problem.
the DM saying that.
Good. I'm glad that it's the DM saying that. Because, yeah, no. If it was in and
The
she
DM is
said
more.
it.
The DM is more cutthroat.
Oh, yeah.
That's
If
what
that
most
was
gods.
in character,
Yeah.
then you're dead.
So yeah, she'll ignore the statement and just go. What was she talking about?
Possession.
Oh, Derek.
What do you know about him?
I don't know much. She says he's not an avatar. He's not. He's out of the divine hierarchy. Essentially, he is.
He says he's like a toe.
He's like, it's a theory that I have. She cut a bit off, and it was. I don't know if it was the toe, but that's become a running joke. she
Where's it gone?
Right.
she goes.
No.
Essentially, he is a
Part of a god?
yes. He's a part of a god.
What god?
Moradin.
Moradin.
Oh yeah.
I like
I've heard of that one.
So
Not a servant, a part of a god.
Yes.
It was funny, but it was missing move.
So,
You're one of those.
Yes, I am.
so
I just want to see the world burn.
yes. So in theory, he is Moradin,
Okay.
but not Moradin.
No, he's Derek.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Derek.
but-
He goes, yeah, I'm Derek.
Okay. So.
Hi, Derek.
So how I think I've asked him before, but maybe you can do like tell me properly. How can he do all of this to the weapons and armors?
Just because that's what Moradin does.
I mean I get that, but how can he do that? Has he got a limited use of it? Has he got? Is his time running out using it?
So, in this essence, she
I'm
says.
asking the wrong question.
No. In essence, she says, avatars and above have a basket of divine energy in them per se.
Yes.
Derek is a super, super huge basket. Let's just put it that way.
So essentially, it'll never run out. It's almost.
It refills
it's
itself.
bottomless.
Yes, it's a huge basket of divine energy.
So Derek is a basket case.
Derek goes, "What's a basket?"
Thing you put stuff in.
What's a basket case?
Fucking madman.
He goes, I don't. I think I have all my faculties.
Yes.
How?
Okay.
So if Moradin removed part of themselves and made a Derek,
I didn't even touch it.
how is Derek then removing
Sweet,
parts of
sweet
himself
chaos.
and making a?
She says, I don't know. Why don't you just ask him? I only know the concept of what he is. I don't.
Derek, answer all the questions we just asked, please, and that one.
Oh, well, you see, I was working with circuits, but I can't
Who?
do circuits.
Circuits.
Circuit is these little boards, and you put little holes in them, and then you...
Circuit.
Yes.
New character.
Oh,
Circuits.
Does he
okay.
have a last name?
No, circuits.
Harrington.
Circuit.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna
Right,
do that bit out
so-
of character so that maybe Derek gets it.
So I could put like commands and stuff in it, but it doesn't have individuality. So I had to improvise. So I took a bit of myself, and I noticed that I was getting different, and I was like, oh, maybe if I put that element in the cat, then it would become different too.
What do you mean by different, Derek?
Well, when you first found me, I wasn't as together.
Sure, we know that you were a balling whirl of energy.
No, mentally as well. I didn't know what everything was.
Oh wow.
No shit.
So, but now I've got a general grasp of things. I can smile now, he says.
Don't.
You're doing such a good job, Derek.
Yeah.
No.
And he was like, so yeah, I did that with the cat, and it seems to have worked.
You smiled at the cat?
No.
Aww.
No, it's no. I put a little casket in the cat, basket in the cat.
A casket.
So it's
You could call it a cat.
it's like a carrier cat.
No, it's its own person. See, it's the cat's just
So it's
going.
not connected. So it's not connected to you in any way.
Oh no, yeah, it is. You see, Moradin's trapped in her or his or their realm, and I haven't spoken to them. But if she came back or he came back, I would be like, oh, hi, and we'd be sort of connected emotionally and mentally. But
How did have you
How
ever
did
been
you
to
get
Moradin's
sent?
realm? Yeah, how was that done before? How was the back and forth between Moradin and Moradin's world done to here previously?
so I don't remember how. Obviously, do you remember how you were born?
Brought into this world kicking and screaming.
I was the concept of born.
weren't.
The concept of born was foreign to me, so I don't really know. I just remember one day, and I was like,
Got you there.
I was like, so what do you want me to do? What's my purpose? And she was like, you don't really have a purpose. You're just something that I'm toying with right now. And then and I was like, okay. I was like, so that's my purpose, is to just to do whatever I want. And she was like, yeah. But then she trapped me in a furnace.
Oh.
so I couldn't really do much.
And then they freed you.
Yeah,
Do you like Moradin?
they're alright. I mean, what, why, I don't...
Well, she trapped you in a furnace. That's why.
Yeah, but that was my purpose.
Are we doing anything different? We're just making Derek walk.
Oh, and I like walking.
We know. See, we're doing something better.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good. I'm sure if Moradin was here, they would be very pleased.
Excellent.
Yes. It's good to know. He goes, yeah, so... yeah. Everyone do wisdom saving throw.
Oh fuck.
What just happened? Sorry, I
Do-
zoned out.
It's just your wisdom saving throw.
Is it a magical thing?
Yes.
For everyone.
Advantage.
Or...
That's a 9. No, that's not a 9. That's a 10. That's a 7.
I like
Not 20.
my bonus to wisdom.
Oh, 17.
So,
Not 20
7.
plus
7.
6.
6.
26.
Oh, 7, 26.
22.
Yeah.
15.
The short people are doing great.
I'm not sure what to do.
You 3 get up and start dancing.
Basically.
You 3.
Oh, nice.
I enjoy it.
My character's doing the floss.
Oh,
You're just the
God damn it.
worst. Yeah, that'll hurt.
I don't know what that is. What's the
It's
floss?
that
it's
sideways
the
thing. You gotta do it now, you gotta demonstrate.
Yeah,
can't
do
do
it.
Don't
You
worry.
gotta try
Do
it. You said you're doing it.
Yeah, do it.
Do it. Give it a couple of weeks and you'll understand.
Amy just sniggers to herself and then just waves her hand around. She's like, the cat is playing a game, she says.
Wait, what? The cat did that?
That little bastard.
Can I at least make a performance check to see how good my dancing is?
Sure, yes.
Nice.
Well,
want
now
us
that
to
I'm
do-
dancing
Actually,
about it.
do a disadvantage. No, what colour is your skin? Because if you're white, no. If
Pale
you're,
white.
oh, yeah, disadvantage. You're white.
Wow!
How bad that sounds.
Wow! Bringing
21.
So why do you want a disadvantage? Fuck's sake.
Wow.
It's
Yes.
a based
You are-
Pretty fly. for a
Yeah, white guy.
Pretty flat for a white guy.
I asked for a 13, but they drew a 31.
Hey.
Oh god, we're in a room for the nets.
She's like, she smiles to herself and she says, I like the cat.
Shit, she's indifferent to literally everything and everyone except the cat.
Fucking
She
cats
cat
rule the world.
Cat and Harold.
Maybe she is back if she's that indifferent.
No, fuck off.
So she says, yeah, we're done here. If anyone else has any questions.
Are they still dancing?
No, she waved her hand and they stopped dancing.
Aw.
She let it go on for probably about 10-15 seconds and then she was just like...
Who said I stopped dancing?
Oh.
Yeah, I would have started to dance. This is fun.
Oh, they're dancing. Social involvement. That I should probably join in.
How did my girlfriend find the dancing?
Oh wow.
Oh yeah,
Girlfriend.
Wanda, you've got it on with it.
She's more
Follow
amused.
that.
She's more amused with the cat casting the
yeah, I
spell.
imagine so.
All the overpowered women in the room are fascinating more with the cat than you
Of
guys.
course they are.
Quickly, two dancing tonight to enhance your performance.
Yeah, that's a cat
Cat
owner, that's
dancing
relatable.
Yeah, there we go.
Add light and just do
Well,
it all over the place.
make it balls of light floating around you.
It's like concentration.
Yes.
So he was like, so Derek goes, yeah, it's slowly becoming more.
No, it isn't.
That.
It's just a 1 hour thing. No concentration.
But it's got its own basket and then mine refills. As they
Does
call.
its refill?
What?
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 Does its basket refill?
Oh no, I have to charge it up every once in a while.
Oh god, no.
Yeah, but see, this is how I do it. And he gets mittens off the drone. And he-
cuddles.
Yeah, he goes like this. Yeah. And then you see sort of like slight static between his fingers and the fur.
Oh.
Good.
And he goes,
Exactly how I thought it was going to happen.
he was like,
At this point, Kira's gonna turn into a cat
yeah.
and try to go up to the mechanical cat. I don't know, poke my tail up and try and like bottle
Derek
it.
picks both of you up and starts
Oh, God.
doing some sort of weird like,
Cat
cat dance.
thing.
Stop, yeah. No.
Oh, I think you're
I'm trying to get my claws out, but knowing that it's going to be metal, it's not probably going to respond to that.
Amy, how do we get back to the Shadow? No, not Shadowfell. What's the other one? Feywilds.
She says, I think you better start making preparations and start going over the Poison Bridge again.
What, you mean you can't just teleport us there?
It's a bit more difficult.
The Feywild is very unreliable.
Oh, the people in it.
I can teleport you to places like Grando, but places I've been before, she says. With the
So you've never been to Feywilds?
No, I've been to the elf capital before, she said, to get my inheritance.
Well, isn't that where
We're not going there.
Isn't that where you came from? You came
Why are we
from
not going
the
there?
Feywilds.
Don't like elves.
No, the backstory was
I mean, no one really
her
likes
parents
the elves,
came up to
but-
the human capital to have sort of like talks with the queen there. The war happened, they died, she became orphaned, and then Lesher adopted her soon after.
If you care for Derek, you do not want to teleport to the elf capital
Why?
because they will take Derek.
No, they won't. They'll die before
There'll
they
be a
take
lot
Derek.
more of them than you.
No, they won't. I would have found
No,
knowledge.
we're finished with them.
Yeah, exactly. We could have fucking semi-part god.
She says,
I'm not part of a god.
Shut up, Tori.
she says, would you like to, she turns to you, would you like to explain how the elves work?
No, not really.
Fine, she says. She says there's a hierarchy, but it's a bit different from humans. There's a bit more,
Swear words?
no, more bowing and innate talents involved and shit like
Okay.
that. If you're either born with it or you're born without it, basically, she says.
Where's me?
They're a bunch of pompous wankers.
So she says the hierarchy goes like this. You've got your normal elves. There's probably a couple of. There's not many elves, she says. There's probably maybe only 500,000.
What? That's not many.
No.
So the lowest rung is snooty bastard.
Then above them, you've got there's about 50 noble families.
Oh, okay, so really spooky.
Really
bastards.
uptight twats.
So like the other people on this tier, basically.
They sort of run the show, basically. The
Okay.
politics of the capital, the laws, the shops, what have you.
They're bad at it.
Politics.
Are they?
Yeah.
Bad at
No,
it.
they're very good at it. Elves know how to talk a good game. Whether or not they can do the game is an entirely different matter. But they can talk very well. Above the 50 families, then you've got 10 sort of like in waiting families, which are above the noble families. They tend to be families that have been picked before in the cycle. Just to get to the cycle in a moment. And then above them, then you have 5. How do I describe it? Maiden families. So every 300, 400 years, a noble family, one of the children are picked out to be a maiden for Aetherius. And they serve Aetherius for their life, basically.
Okay.
And so basically, if you're part of the noble families and your daughter is picked as a maiden, you basically go up to the top 5. And then whoever was before in the top 5 goes down to the 10. And then if you haven't been picked again in the 10, you go back down to the 50.
Huh?
So it's
Are there some families that have never been chosen?
you'd have to go back in the records, but probably, she says.
It's too vast to tell.
Yes, it's a very long history. We're talking millions of years, she says. And then the maidens obviously serve Aetherius. However, recently I have heard that the last 2 maidens over the last 20 or 30 years or so haven't been picked from the 50 families.
Why?
From what I've heard, they're outworlders.
Why would they choose an outworld?
Aetherius does the picking, not the elves.
Why would Aetherius choose an outworlder then?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, you're an elf.
No.
To be honest, from the sounds of it, she
are.
didn't pay much attention, she says.
Or so she just picked someone.
She does it, like I said, every so often. Usually every 100 to 300 years, basically through an elf's life cycle. So elves live for 750 to 1,000 years, depending on what type of elf you are. But for the Outworlders, it happened in quick succession. It happened like in 30 years, and then 10 years later they got another one. It was very bizarre, she said.
So the persons they picked weren't necessarily elves then?
From what I've heard, one is a half elf, and one is human.
Huh. Why was she choosing non-elven then?
It's very interesting.
Yeah, the elves love that.
And then there are some exceptions. Say, for example, a maiden becomes chosen to become an avatar or an angel. They'll go up and then they'll have to fill the spot themselves. In those situations, Aetherius doesn't pick it. It's the noble families. So when that happens, it becomes more of a political game, which is where the elves get their talking from, should we say.
Yeah.
Which is problematic, she says. So there we go.
Yeah.
That's the elves explained for you. They're not nasty people, but they're not nice people either. They will only
Do what they must to get what they need.
They're more about needs and benefits and how you can help them and how they can help you.
They make wonderful corpses.
Yes, you're an interesting case, she says.
How did you get away from them?
As quickly as I could.
Yeah.
Elves tend to, from what I've heard of her background, she says, I've looked into your background. It wasn't that hard to find. She says she was an outcast essentially, so she wasn't even part of the noble family. She was one of the 500,000. She was one of the lowers, basically. No noble name to a title. In that case, elves tend to not keep tabs on themselves in that rank, so you can leave as you please, basically. It's
So
only
they let you go.
yeah. I mean, she was probably more of a nuisance than anything. So.
Well, yeah, I get that.
From what I heard, she was a bit of an urchin, should we say?
What about you, though?
I was nowhere near a city. My family and I were hunted by some elves going with an experiment for an unknown reason, and my parents gave themselves up so I could escape.
What were they experimenting?
That's another element of elves. They're very curious.
Well, it's coming from what we've heard with these other worlders being chosen.
Yeah.
My family's other worlders, they could be interested in that sort of thing. Like, it could be some sort of coup about not liking other worlders or why these other worlders are being picked by this god.
I would imagine if the noble families got wind of some divine creatures randomly appeared out of nowhere in front of Aetherius.
Oh, divine creature. What?
That's something I can really describe it.
How are you defining?
He's got.
You're an elf.
There's celestial blood in my veins.
You're an elf.
He's not an elf.
I'm not Azamar.
But you're an elf. What's the nation mark? In character.
No, yeah. Amy then goes, I don't know a lot about it, however, apparently from his plane, it's an uncommon thing. So it's not rare, but it's not common.
Sure.
There are some of my race that are rare. They are directly connected to the gods. But sometimes
But you're from a different plane.
a godly being will be with a regular Joe, human, elf, whatever, and cause the offspring to be part human, part celestial, and that is
So
basically
half elf.
no, it's just half god blood, basically.
Sure.
Anyway, we're getting on semantics now, she says. That's all.
I've got golden eyes. You don't see that a lot, do you?
So it's just,
I don't know, hers are quite black and mine are gold,
I'm not
so it's
looking
not
at eyes.
really.
I don't care about eyes. Remember, I'm short with a big hat.
Yeah, we have to look up a lot. We don't really see eyes, do we?
Nope. Just see up nostrils a lot.
You just
They
see.
don't have colour.
Hmm.
Just blood normally.
You just see knees and crotches a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy at the head. But
Yeah.
no, shut up.
No, you're like 6 foot
I
something.
know that giggle.
So you're like in Optimal Prime to head
half
better
my height.
in the crotch.
Yeah, put me in the crotch. I haven't done anything to you that is deserving of a headbutting in the crotch.
So yes, Amy says, I think that's all we need to discuss really.
Probably.
Amy would be perfect. Right in the crotch. She's getting well nasty.
I know.
Pepper in the crotch then.
You're saying it in character out.
Both.
Yeah, both.
In that limbo.
So Amy will just say, I'll leave you to your own devices. She said, I'm going to be in the city for the next couple of days if you need me. I'm thinking about now that I have access to the 4th disc, I can move my base here.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, that would be a lot more convenient.
Would you agree that they've done a fantastic job? You just sent me to join them.
You did tell us to get onto the 4th disc
All those months
in
ago.
any way. We have. Forgot about that, didn't you?
She said Nikki Cox was my fail-safe. You were more of a risky payoff, but it paid off. She
There
said.
you go.
Because we're brilliant.
Well, yeah.
She was like, fine, what the hell do you want?
Shit.
Go on then, you guys first.
I think he wants some respect.
That's me.
That has a very high price tag, she says.
Well, I've earned it. No. What do I want? Can I tell her about my dream? Or the 3 people that I seen?
Oh, and when you went
Yeah.
to see Fate. Yes.
I tell her that, yeah.
No, she it's not my. I can't fathom what that was. She says that was,
No one you recognise.
no. It sounds like a very hallucinogenic dream, to be honest. She says.
It was from Fate.
Yeah,
So,
but the
yeah.
concept of
They don't
fate.
know who Fate is, do they? We've asked this question before.
True, yes.
Fate is not. It's not something you can control, let alone be a being of something.
He appears to be.
Yeah. Then no one at all you recognise.
No, she says. So somebody that powerful to make their own plane to play a game sounds a bit out of my realm of expertise. She says. I mean, I don't know of anyone that could do that. I mean, even a Venya probably wouldn't be able to make her own plane.
Could have got to it.
Who was the woman who we played cards with there?
Yeah.
She was
You
just
don't
she was the
recognise
lady,
woman we
wasn't
played
she?
cards with.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your vision with the 2 women and Derek, and you're in the room.
I have some cards from
Yeah, no,
Fate
I'm on
and the
about
lady,
the
if you just want to look at them.
cards. Her, and the one I got from her.
The memory.
That one, her memory. I'm on about.
So her memory.
No.
No, I
Oh.
got tight.
Oh, the
memory.
woman's
The
memory.
woman's memory.
Oh, right, okay.
And describe the woman as well.
Mm.
So I don't know if it'll help if I have to put out the
She was like,
cards.
based off your description, she says, I wouldn't know. However, the people in the vision, it sounds like you heard a conversation between Zero and the Queen.
Isn't Zero the god?
The leader of the Pantheon, yes.
The queen that doesn't exist for what we know, dead, gone.
So you're saying this woman predates the war and that
Yes.
the death of the queen, and
Yes.
who is she?
Don't know.
She didn't come with us, was she? She was just a part of
She
the realm,
was
wasn't
brought
she?
in, yeah.
She could like
What
be
was she
from,
wearing?
from,
Okay.
from that plane.
Sorry,
What was she wearing again?
I can't remember. In all honesty, we'll have to use.
Yeah, well, the
We'll have to use.
the DM is not Fiat, basically.
Yeah.
But she says, well, based off the clothing, I wouldn't be able to say either, because any woman could have worn that. And somebody really beautiful with brunette hair is not a very good description. She says she could be any elf, basically. She says.
Did she appear like human-like, or was she ethereal?
She
in
was
nature?
she was human in appearance.
But she wasn't like some sort of like spirit or something. Probably.
No.
Well, he's fake. He can control time. Should be.
So she said you saw a vision with the Queen and Zero.
Yep.
The woman was there.
Yep.
Who else was in the room? Yeah, so you saw the Avatar.
The Avatar.
And you also saw a man in shining armour.
Yes.
She says, based on the description, probably Trom and her avatar.
Wow. So Trom's So it was essentially a meeting of the gods and the queen.
It was. I'm assuming Tron was there to protect Zero for some reason, and her avatar is obviously Zero's avatar. From the sounds of it, so the avatar sounds essentially like a glorified tea girl.
Okay. Yeah, well,
Anything else?
I ran out of cake.
You've run out of cake. She goes,
Well, so's the kitchen.
Oh.
she says, you just had two. She said 2 whole cakes.
Yeah.
These are
I shared some with Ron.
these are like 14 inch by 14 inch cakes, by the way. They're like pizza sized. They're gone. Royal Constitution.
I knew this was actually going to happen. 18 plus 24.
Oh, yeah.
You are on a fucking sugar high, so you don't. But you don't feel sick in the slightest.
Nice.
So this is like this whole that you were enjoying this whole new experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a different
You can have
kind
lots
of
of mine
high.
if you like. I've only eaten
Awesome.
half.
The cat is jumped on the table and is licking the gatto cream off the plates.
You can have mine
That's not
half
my
if you like.
problem.
I've only eaten half.
Oh, would you like some
Derek,
as
cat's
well?
on the table. Cat shouldn't be on the table.
Oh.
Derek just goes,
Does
but
it pleases.
it's mittens.
I don't give a shit.
It's fine.
Like my cat at home's old, so we don't tell him not to do stuff. He just does it.
So can we get more cake?
Well, here's the other
The cat is
one.
now slowly knocking off fine china off the table.
Standard.
I'm watching it, and I'm hoping that High Elf is around so I can watch the expression on her face.
She
I'm
a
admiring
mixture
the shit on the floor.
mixture of curiosity that this is happening and horror is painted on her face.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Giggle.
Yeah. Derek will eventually pick up the cat though because somebody said take the cat off the table.
My next move would have been joining
But
and
the-
milking fine china.
But the cat is covered in chocolate cream basically.
That's not my problem.
Derek,
So
Derek-
yeah, Amy, we got to the 4th disc.
yes, congratulations. And she said, "You asked what I asked you what you wanted, and you said to explain your vision." And so,
Yes, and I was just merely telling you.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes, good dinner. She says. That's more Derek expression.
what
She
do
goes,
we
"That's
want?"
wonderful."
No,
So
I
what-
don't need
so
anything
what do
from
we
you,
want?
Amy.
You don't want any. Okay.
Unless you have any more information about the champion weapon I possess.
Diana's probably the best person to ask that. She says.
Yeah, but she doesn't know her anything.
Cool. Thank you. Get to go and talk to
Yeah.
Diana. Walk off.
Diana will say her champion weapon is in a similar state to yours. She knows that it's in 3 pieces. Her father owns one, and the third and final piece she doesn't know where it is.
Yeah. No, I was assuming that, which is why I was asking Amy, because she has archive and she might know what other parts of
Yeah.
said weapon are, but if Amy does not know, then that's
No.
she's
It's,
as
it's
useless
not, it's
as I
not
think she
unlike
is.
an innate ability to know everything, to know everything she's seen or read about.
Seen, read, talked about. She just remembers everything. It's photographic memory on a higher scale, basically.
Okay, so does she have any information on guns?
She has the premises of multiple guns.
Can I see them?
Oh, is that your price? Is it?
Not my price, it's your price.
I suppose you're being useful to me.
Want to see them all, please? I even say please.
She says, "Yes, I'll get you photocopies. Yeah.
Sorry, what?
I'll get you printouts as soon as possible."
Yeah.
She says, "I will give it to you momentarily."
What's
She
a
says,
printer?
"It's this thing where I tell the machine to type things out for me,
Okay. Oh, so it's a press.
similar to a press." She says.
Right, I get that.
Mm.
It's a press.
You don't know
I
what
think
press
it's this.
A press.
I'm impressed.
You wouldn't know what a press is. You may know what a press is.
Because you've seen so many wanted posters.
Yeah.
That's how they print all the posters.
I guess I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But
I thought they hand drew them.
it's, yeah.
Yeah, same.
I mean, the first one they do,
So
yes.
did
The first one they do, yes. But then they've got a machine that they turn a cog and wheels and stuff, and they print like loads. Well, I guess, yeah.
That's
I guess
very
I
clever.
get it.
That's very, very clever.
I thought press was this.
Don't impress them either.
So yeah, you're left to your own devices then, and like people will slowly start going out of the room unless you've got questions for them.
I'm going to the first tab.
Okay, so we'll carry on with feet stuff then, shall we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go around the table again. So you were doing training with Mooney, basically.
Yeah. For elemental adept.
Yeah.
The price I'd like to go to tea plights with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So every once in a while she'll
No.
invite you to her.
What's in there?
Not her because she won't take you to the fifth disc because that would be inappropriate.
No, it wouldn't.
But
She loves it.
No, she'll take you. She'll invite you to like.
Well, you haven't got bedroom privileges yet.
Sweet love.
She'll invite you to taverns and sort of like bistieros on like the fourth disc.
They're still on
basically.
the dating stage.
So every day she'll have a little tea party with you for about half an hour, so you have a
First
coffee
dates.
together in this posh little
Do I get an
Almost a second.
idea of why she wants a tea party? Is she trying to get information from me? Is she studying me?
Pumping you for something?
She will. That divine semen.
Oh well, okay, so the DM's not a filthy mind.
I thought you already knew that. Yeah, she's not that direct, I'm afraid.
You're afraid.
Yeah, she's mostly every once in a while she'll like ask a prying conversation maybe about your family, just general information. She's more interested in you, the person, because she understands the concept of what you are, but she wants to know the circumstances of what eventually led you to this point.
That's good because the information I can give you, like the private messages, we could talk about it and that sort of thing. As long as I knew that she would not mention it to anyone else.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't. She may mention it offhandedly to Amy because she's working with Amy a bit closely now because Amy has something that she doesn't have.
But yeah, like what I mentioned about my background, like I'd be very restricted in talking about it, but I wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
Because it obviously involves magic that she's interested in. So, but I don't think she can even do it. So.
So now then,
So I
roll.
was 40% of the way through.
Yeah, so roll two dice. See what we'll do. Straight up intelligence. Is to see how much information do you retain.
They're not good at all. 9 and 7.
Shit. Okay, now roll another 2, and this time will be practical use. So we'll use athletics or acrobatics, depending on which one you're better at.
Cast spells.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at acrobatics.
Okay.
Oh god. Oh, that's 6 and 18.
Oh god. On those rolls, I can't really give you the feat, where it's not really fair.
Fair play.
I'm trying to think of a way to get around this.
Just do it as a sort of practical learning experience when we're out and about doing stuff. Just give it a bit longer.
Well, it's quite a particular thing. I'm trying to.
It's a very weak feat to begin with. Well, it's not weak, but it's very specific.
I'm trying, not make sure that nothing resists fire damage from me. So it's just kind of hard to sort of focus on.
Knowing that you can't do the feat straight away, she might give you an exchange of time for. Let's see what she'd ask you to do.
If the rolls weren't good enough, they weren't good enough. I don't mind.
No, I think he's got another idea.
She says, "Oh, you're just there. You're almost grasping it." She says, "Would you give me your hand for a moment?"
Do I roll insight before I do it?
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Well, I'll try insight just to see if there's anything peculiar. Like she's giving off bad vibes. 16.
She never gives off bad vibes. However,
She does molest.
she's 16,
She's younger
guys.
than me.
She's 16.
How old are you?
17.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine then. Yeah.
Um,
yeah, perfect.
17.
She
Oh,
it's more like she's trying to give you. It's a combination of that she's highly curious and she's trying to help you in a certain way, so you know whatever she's about to do is fairly helpful.
Well, if you want, you can decide after I give you the information what you think about me, because we'll be talking about that information.
No, this will happen regardless. Are you gonna give her a hand?
Yeah, if I don't get like any sort of like issues or like bad
Bad vibes.
vibes,
Okay.
that should be fine.
Yeah, she'll hold your hand, and then all of a sudden, something you realise people have stopped moving around you.
Similar to what
Yeah.
happened at the Colosseum.
For people in this instant, the only people that can move around right now are you out of the party. So, yeah. So suddenly, all of a sudden, people stop moving while whatever you're doing.
What the fuck?
Wow.
I pull his trousers down.
Oh yeah, because you're observing him, aren't you? Currently,
What?
you're observing him, aren't you, with his sniping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll
God damn it. So,
I think he has to
is
roll
Derek?
a
Is
check.
Derek there? Would Derek be with you?
Or Derek would work
That's
with
a
me.
question for us to hit.
No.
I don't know.
He's probably busy with his cat.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
He's doing a few weapons for us now and again, but
Maybe his cat is with you, but maybe not him.
and the
Maybe.
cat is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It pulls your trousers.
No, the cat just sits on him.
Please don't. Because I'm trying to get my feet.
Okay. No, the cat is with you, and the cat seems to be. The cat can't smile, but it seems to be okay with it.
Please don't. Please don't. It makes me get it.
Just start playing with it like a ball. You're that short, you probably can reach.
You're gonna come round with some scratches all over.
Ow! Why? Ow! Oh god, it hurts so much.
It's not doing that. It's on the drone, and it's making sure it's like 5 or 10 feet above both of you, and it's just like, yes, I'm superior to everyone. And he's just watching. He's just like, run around, you fools! Run.
Nice.
That's what cats are.
This cat is something.
I love this cat.
So yeah, time freezes. She then lets go of your hand. She says, "We've got another 3 or 4 hours of practice, basically." And with that, then you can get the feat. And which she will then say, "Oh, this is my ability, basically. It's innate. Which is not a spell," she says. It has certain limitations, like as you can see, people of divine nature can't be frozen, basically, or people that I choose, or high spellcasters. So it doesn't work on people like Amy. People with the common sense, basically, to avoid it. Yeah, so you learn the feat.
Intelligence.
I want really want to roleplay this. So have you really dropped his trousers?
Give Derek a visual representation of what we were
A
talking about.
schlong looks like.
Right.
Oh, what a schlong looks like.
There's the hooker.
I mean,
Derek!
I think probably having seen what went on in the Colosseum the last time.
Yes.
I think I would have had to.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
As time unfreezes, roll a wisdom saving throw.
Is it magic?
Yes, it is.
I'm a gnome.
Yes, it is.
It's a yeah. Dirty 20.
You notice your trousers are down. You get an inkling to start dancing, but then prevent yourself. So you're like this.
That was gonna make you dance.
Oh my
You
god,
can dance
so
if you want.
unfair. It just jiggles a bit and then you stop.
Yeah.
And your trousers are gone.
Yeah.
Maybe you ever start thinking something's wrong with you or something. It's the second time it's
Keep
happened.
happening.
If you blacking out and then the next
Just
you know
buy
your
a belt.
trousers down.
Someone buy him a good belt.
I think that
Well,
he's
he's
going to
got
buy
a
himself a
belt,
good
that's the
belt.
problem.
Yeah, get a better one.
Yeah, get one with a fucking mouse trap on it.
You then
You fuck! It was you. I can tell because your fingers over here.
you hear a message in your head.
Oh yeah.
It sounds very peculiar, but it sounds very feline, should I say?
No,
But it sounds like,
not feeling it.
yeah, it's this. You need to protect your deformity more.
Hold on, what? I'm now deformed?
Well, because the cat doesn't have a poker orifice.
I remember this shit.
So just was Ty just wondering about or just looking at the situation for 3 to 4 hours?
Yes, essentially.
You were there for 3 to 4 hours while
I
Ty stopped.
had to meditate and everything. It was lovely.
You just
Well, it's been an hour. I'm bored now.
started doodling on his face.
Painting a musical statue for the towel.
I win.
Right, okay. Yes, you have your feet now.
Cool. Yeah.
Next, you are linguisting, protecting a dragon, basically.
Yeah, motherly learning draconicness.
Oh yeah, you were learning.
Were you going after the feet specifically, or just draconic?
I was pretty determined to learn draconic and teach Ron Coleman.
No, okay. Roll 2 animal handling checks.
Not nature.
2 animal handling checks.
That one's a nat 20 and this one's a 19. So yeah, 120, 119.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yes.
Now roll 2 con saving throws.
15 and an 8.
Okay, so this is what happens. You're both learning the language. You just grasp Draconic, so you can speak Draconic and
Yeah,
understand
it was only
Draconic. But every once in a while, you're not fully fluent. So every once in a while, there may be a word that you're like, "Hang on, what does that mean?" Sort of like, have you ever heard a Frenchman's trying to speak English?
It's like in Amherst when you walk through the street and some people just start talking Welsh and they just transition into English.
Yeah, it's similar to that. It's
I'm using Wanglish,
yeah, it's similar to that. You understand Draconic. Speaking it is a bit harder.
Chips.
Okay.
But like I said, every once in a while you come across the word and be like, what does it mean?
You want to go down the shop, piss God and Spotty on that sort of thing.
Your dragon grasps common, so it understands common. Also, it's learned how to fly.
Aww.
And also, your ability is a bit better now. So because obviously it's not the same as a feat. You said you can only hover. Now you can glide a bit better.
Am I
basically.
improving my flying at the
Yeah.
same time? Wow,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, I'm happy.
So
with that.
while he's learning to fly, you're
My flying also improves.
yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So once basically you said you were gliding, but there's a slow. Now you can, if you've got the running start, you can stay in there indefinitely. Basically.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So I can actually hover kind of.
Hover basically.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So if you just jumped, you might be able to just go like that. Just
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
You don't have a flight speed yet. It's half your normal walking speed. Flight speed is 50 foot.
Hey, you can run and jump and then just stay like that
Yeah.
for however long to hit the ground.
Yeah.
So I just say that I can hover basically over
Yeah.
flying now. I'll add that bit. Cool.
So you didn't quite get all of it, was it?
So how much would you say I can speak Draconic on a scale of 1
You
being
can-
down and 5 being fluent?
You can hold conversation. You can talk. Like I said, if somebody spoke Draconic, you'd be able to join in the conversation. It's not limiting. But every once in a while, they may say a word, and you'd be like,
Amateur Draconic? Novice?
it's more intermediate.
Oh, cool.
So like I said, you can hold a conversation, you can maybe do complicated tasks in Draconic, like maybe you might be able to do your taxes in Draconic if you wanted
Oh,
to.
Kira's not going to do our taxes anyway.
But,
Texas is one of those.
but things like very specific, like if you were given a tome of Draconic, you'd probably be able to read like 95% of it. Every once in a while they come across a word and be like, what is that?
With the feat of
read the
having
photos.
linguistics,
Yeah.
it does give +1 intelligence.
Yeah.
Am I able to get that?
Yes.
Thank you, dear.
No.
You need to. It's nothing, I'm guessing.
I just want to read more into them because I can't get it online.
Okay.
Okay, cool, yeah. Take pictures.
You next. You're
Cool,
doing snipey stuff.
No, fade away.
Oh yeah, fade away. You're learning how to sneak around.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Right,
No, I do remember. Ooh,
Ooh,
no,
clever.
my phone, not my phone, my camera. There you go.
Thingy.
My thingy.
You think out, get your thingy. I meant the word. You'll have something.
Yeah, fade away. Yeah. You last time you did 2 jobs, didn't you? So you earned gold as you were doing it. Are you going to continue doing that line of?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're hunting exotic beasts essentially. What would luck be? No, roll 2 investigation rolls. So this is to how quickly you can find your game, basically.
Not 20.
No.
Plus 5.
Yeah. Okay. You're fine. And then roll 2 dexterities.
2, yeah.
2.
Did you need to know both those numbers?
Yes.
I think it was a 16 or a 14.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So plus
carry
5
on.
to that as well.
Yeah.
What was the second one? Sorry.
Dexterity.
Straight dex or
So
is
straight
it
dex.
not acrobatics? or
No,
athletics?
straight dex.
Plus 5 still.
Yeah.
14. That's 19. 7, 8, 12.
No, just barely. You barely get it.
So I got it.
Yeah. Let's just say you get to the point where you get infuriated, you suddenly do a random shot and then you have it.
Okay.
It just happens.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get really frustrated and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, well, it's okay.
Well, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. Happy days.
You
Spell sniper.
oh yeah, you were observing him. And what were you else? You said you were going to go to the Magic College eventually, didn't you? So you'd be seeing her at the Magic College doing draconic stuff, basically. This one needs a bit more role play.
Sorry. Did you just talk in Murloc?
That was my that was my terrible role playing.
Right.
Yeah. Draconic.
I have to say you've picked up a bit of a northern accent there.
Ron understands me. That's all that matters.
Murloc was just invented in this world.
So roll
Oh god, not the Murloc.
roll an investigation roll.
I am Murloc.
Just the one investigation roll.
Obviously, the top bit didn't affect me because they're both
Yeah.
ready already. Yeah.
But worst case scenario, if you ever lose the stats, you know you've got +1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so keep it in mind, basically.
Dirty 20.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's true.
Because if you play the card game again and you lose 2 stat points, you still technically got the +1 from the feat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Sorry.
You're looking around the Magic College, you can kind of see the more magical people that maybe spell sniping you'd be able to learn from.
Didn't I spoke to somebody the last time about doing it for what I was learning?
You were talking to Maggie Smith about it.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
but
a
she's an
mistake.
enchantment specialist, so she wouldn't have that information. She eventually leads you to Rowley, the head of the college, and she's more of a spell attacker. She's a metal worker, basically. She'd probably be able to do it. So you learn from her for the next 2 or 3 days. Basically, she indoctrinates into your own special class. So every hour a day, she'll invite you to her office, and then she'll invite you to join the other college students to learn basic magic, basically. So would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's more sorcery wizard based, so it's like you understand the spells they're casting and the concepts, but you yourself can't cast them. So it's interesting to learn this sort of stuff. Roll 2 intelligence checks to see how much information you get.
So 6 and a 16.
Are you keeping those?
Lucky.
You got lucky.
I mean, yeah.
Or
Burn-
you've got
burn a luck
natural
and
true.
re-rolling. Well, that's not much better, is it?
So say those numbers.
That's a 13 and a 16.
Okay, that's a bit better. Now roll investigation. This is to retain the knowledge.
Okay, I'm going to burn a couple of them. Oh, they're better.
That's much better.
Was that a 20?
Not 20, yeah.
23 and a 18.
So,
Didn't have to use the number.
the following things happen. For the nat 20, I will reward you something. You do learn the feat.
Yay!
However, it seems like the concepts stuck in you more than they should have. So now you can do a wizard cantrip as well.
Oh, choose a wizard's cantrip.
Yeah.
Yay!
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
I
Good
could not have my
source.
things with me till you do that.
Where's my PHP?
Yeah.
I was just about to pass you that. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's could actually be wizard cantrips in here.
I'll leave you.
are, in fairness.
For the nat 20, I'll leave you decide what the wizard's
She
cantrip is.
get prestidigitation.
I was more thinking like.
Burning hands or something.
But
No, I was
it's
thinking
stuff.
booming blade or
Oh, fuck. Alright.
green flame blade or something like that.
One of the blades.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna
It's a melee weapon attack,
True,
but
yeah.
you're using your staff, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably be looking for something that I can do at range to take full advantage
Oh,
of the
right.
spell sniping.
So you would, because you get a free cantrip from that, don't you? Do you?
I don't know.
I know we'll have to read it out.
Right, it's in there.
Yeah.
Have a quick look at it.
Yeah. So carry on, do some theory crafting on your own, basically.
Yeah.
And now finally, Dan.
Hang on a second, I'm just trying to help.
Okay, I will sit here then.
Yeah, you learn one cantrip that requires an attack roll. So that's from any.
There's wizard cantrips.
That's from any spell list.
Ooh, that's nice.
From any.
Yeah, just it has to be an attacking cantrip. Though. It has to be an attacking range.
So you can learn your ranged cantrip from your spell sniping, and then you can learn any wizard cantrip then.
Okay, I'm going to go up to Kira.
Hello. Or should I say, wow? Big learning draconic. Maybe hello.
Hello. Do you know how to use a herbalism kit?
I do.
Would you be able to teach me how to use one as well?
I suppose I'm on this learning thing a lot at the minute, so yeah, I can do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, wizard spells don't have booming blade.
Oh, they don't, do they?
That's PHP. The booming.
Oh, booming blade is an additional
That's
item.
that thing. Yeah, sorry.
It's not even in Sandfars.
Is it not?
No. It's, I believe it's UA or Volos. It's one of the two.
Maybe bonus.
It's either Volos or UA. I can't remember which.
It
Same
might,
as Green Flame Blade. Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade are.
it might be a specific campaign cantrip as well, because there's some of those as well.
Only one promise you have to make me. To only use these skills for good.
I was going to use them to make healing potions.
So only for goodness.
Yes.
Okay, then this is fine. I can teach you.
Fantastic.
Because there's another player teaching you. You would roll 2 wisdom checks.
Do I have to roll to?
No, but he rolls them at advantage because you're helping him as the player.
Oh, 2
Okay,
wisdom
nice.
checks at advantage.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nito bonito.
He's got +6 with wisdom. So.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
26 and 23. Because it's 26 is a natural 20.
You learn that herbalism kit very hard. Super hard. Did you say nat 20?
Yeah.
Oh, God. How would I reward you for that?
How about
You're a
part what I was
natural.
about to just say? Maybe she was speaking halfling half the time, and I picked up on that
Possibly, yeah.
because that gets me the final part of my feat prodigy.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But now, what do you want to do for your other dice rolls? I was gonna reward you, saying maybe it's slightly cheaper for you to make potions from now on.
If that's what you want to do.
So they're 5 gold cheaper.
Do
so
I
it's
also get
slightly- Fine. You both. Instead of 25 gold, which is normally it's 20 gold.
Nice.
To make the base
Oh.
one, because each of them
That's not a cantrip.
take longer.
So let's say you
Fucking
save
cantrip.
20% basically on each one.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh God, and that's how I can. Oh God, you just
Have
knocked me into.
Teaching me taught you.
Yeah, it was good to refine these skills.
Yeah.
I haven't used them in such a while.
How do you want me to? Do you need me to do any more of those for a halfling?
Yes. Now we'll roll intelligence with advantage because again it's late helping.
17.
At advantage.
Yeah.
Roll 2.
Oh, roll 2. And 17.
Oh yeah.
17 and 17.
Yeah, you get prodigy basically.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I
Nice.
can now speak halfling.
Nice.
So.
And we are all happy. Okay, on to the next bit.
Second, I've got a lot of stuff to add to
I
my
picked up
sheet.
Toll of the Dead as my
There's
cantrip.
some here as well.
That's a wisdom saving throw, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going thematic, are you? Toll of the Dead. Is thematic? Are you?
Investigation.
You're not getting
Story
fireball or
reveals.
anything, are you? Firebolt, sorry.
Yeah, like for spell sniper, you have to choose one attack roll, but maybe the one he's
The Toll of the Dead is a saving throw, is it?
Yes, it is. It is.
I know I have expertise in stealth.
ones that attack rolls are like
It is.
fireball,
But you do get one.
Ray of Frost is another
shocking
one.
grass.
Shocks we get.
But you could choose the
It's
Toll of the Dead.
Frostbite,
the one,
Thunder,
the bonus one.
Yeah.
that's given.
Clasp.
So that's the thematic one.
Yeah, the wizard one.
The one that you got is just going. Oh, you did good.
Yeah.
Clunk.
Told her that's a weird one.
Seems
I
like
ring-
these
ring a
range
bell
on
and
these
it
is just
hurt.
shocking. They're all at 5 feet.
Yeah,
It's 'cause
they're
it's a melee
attacking
attack.
ones. They're attacking ones.
So they add your melee to your.
They sort of do what a paladin does with their divine smites.
Yeah.
They're
So it's basically melee attack with your weapon.
No.
Plus
they're the
stuff.
full spell.
Yeah, it's
cast
not
variants
as
of a
strong
divine
as
smite.
sorcerer distance spell because sorcerer distance spell can make your inflict wounds be 30 feet
That hurts.
instead of touch. They can make it 30 feet.
Ooh.
I got final skill there.
Not like 3.5.
Right, okay, so on to the next bit. I want you
Ooh, what
guys.
book do I get? Ooh, which book do I get instead?
Really.
Right, okay, so
And then which one after that?
Yeah. But I
And
want
It
you-
takes these 5 books to make a character.
you
Yeah. I'm a
You-
sucker for anything that has player
and
resources.
After she finishes teaching me, does she
Yeah,
still want to
same.
go tea parties or am I free not to go tea parties?
She would like to see you more often.
You two should invent texting.
Yeah.
Just message each other and that's what texting is.
She can send messages to you, but you wouldn't be able to send them back.
Yes, you would.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
because
cast
this
message
message
to-
casts the spell message.
Yeah. Repeat reply, yeah.
Yeah. There's a level 5. There's a level 5 spell that does this, which you probably know.
No. I'll message you. Yeah, I know.
I'll message you too.
No. This makes me want to throw up.
So, I need.
Good to have powerful friends.
I need.
It's good to be
What
able
did I
to
give you,
pocket.
Miss Anthos?
I need
So I
Kaelin,
just need to double check.
Hit myself.
Right, okay.
Ty,
Oh.
and Garviel
Uh-oh.
to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Is it spell?
No.
Bastard.
This is a sleep thing,
Oh, no.
which we haven't done in
She
a while.
can't sleep.
Not me.
That's a
Yeah,
two.
she still meditates.
That's-
She still gets
That's
vision.
Not me.
3.
Not you.
Not me. Okay.
You get something different.
What
Okay.
what roll was it? Sorry,
Wisdom.
Wisdom. It's plus 3.
That was beautiful.
14, 3,
That's an
and
11. But it's on the floor.
Yeah, that floor doesn't count.
Because you rolled on the 11, you rolled on the left.
Yes. Yeah.
9.
Okay, so you two now roll a religion check
Religion is
at disadvantage,
not disadvantage.
and then you roll a religion check at advantage.
Heroism's fine.
11 or an 11.
Okay.
8.
Plus
Guess it'll be the 11.
5. Oh, that's actually a 16 in total.
23 or 25.
We'll go with that though.
So you get your. That's the most important one, so that's good. You get yours. What was yours, sorry?
16.
So you'll have 1 or 2 things missing, and yours was 8.
Just as a ranger's double.
And that was the coolest one.
Yes, right.
Boo.
Yeah.
I'm rolling more for this now.
Alright, okay,
16
so
and a 5.
I'll choose a casualty.
since Beth is doing her stuff, we'll go around the table again.
This one doesn't have to be from, or is it?
The healing potions in this universe was that the base ones were actually the greater ones, weren't they?
Any of the full casters.
Yeah, but for purposes,
Yeah.
the ones that you make with the
Pig.
potions are the base
The
ones.
best one
Okay,
is
I see.
Eldritch Blast and
Is
Fireball.
that a,
Yeah, Eldritch Blast is only good if you're actually a warlock to make it
is
good.
that a good ranged spell?
They're the best attacking cantrips.
Because you roll to hit
They
each time, you
both-
can hit different targets.
They're both 1d10.
Yeah.
1d10, yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Eldritch Blast you can target.
And Eldritch Blast,
Pretty sick.
Eldritch Blast, I think Halal would approve
Yeah.
of it.
I'm thinking the same.
Yeah.
Eldritch
And
Blast.
it's force damage, which is like the
Okay.
Is
Okay.
least resisted one of the game.
Chaotic's not, orb is not in this, is it?
What?
Chromatic.
No, chaotic.
Chaos
It's
Bolt
what-
is
Chaos-
It's
Bolt,
one of the
it's-
first
it's a
It's a
next
first level spell.
Chaos Bolt was a first level spell. It's on the sorcerer only list.
What?
It's one of the only sorcerer only spells in the entire game.
Oh, really? Is it?
Yeah,
Which
I
one?
went through. I couldn't find any other one.
Good
Chaos
God.
Bolt.
Chaos Bolt.
Yeah, you
really?
roll 2d8 and then 1d6, and
Good
then
God.
the numbers on one of your 1d8
Yeah.
is the
I,
damage.
It's a more of a wild sorcerer thing.
Yeah.
And if you roll if you roll the d8 and then the same number, it then jumps to a target, and then it can do the same and go like infinitely.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough, just infinitely bounce to everything.
yeah,
Right,
it
so-
is sorcerer only. Happy. Oh, wow. Oh, that's really cool. I never looked at that.
That's
It's one of my favourite
That was
spells
one of
as a
my
source
options
as
to
well.
take, but I chose not to because I was a bit high level.
So since you scroll low, it's very short and very unclear for you.
Ooh, we got
So what happens is you open your eyes and you don't know where you are and you feel the ground beneath you. And would your character know what sand is?
Yeah, I'm going to take Eldritch Blast then.
Not beach sand, desolate sand, probably.
Yeah. So it feels similar to that. And then you look around, and what's beneath you is essentially it's just a beach, but the beach the colours are sort of somewhat dyed out. So the sand is very grey, black, blue, and then the sea is a very dark purple colour. And you look around and there's nobody here, and you start walking down the shoreline, and you're just looking around, and it's your character actually would somewhat enjoy this new environment. It's very quiet. You can hear the waves. You can even smell the ocean. It's very for your character to be very calming from your perspective. Eventually, though, you do see a man towards the horizon.
This one's separate to what?
Yeah, this is his dream. This is a dream vision.
Sorry, I was just checking. That we weren't all together then.
The guy is fairly tall. I was going to say 8 foot-ish, you estimate. Very thin, very lanky. As you get closer and closer to him, you first of all see him in a sort of like a purple lab coat, but then as you get closer, the clothes change. So it goes from a t-shirt to jeans, a lab coat, a suit, and as you get closer and closer, it goes through the spectrum of different clothes he's wearing. And but they're all purple in hue, purples, blues, and golds.
We're getting it.
And as you start trying to get closer to him, you feel like as you try and get closer to him, he's getting further away. And then you wake up.
Did it feel like the way he was changing his clothes was like illusory magic, or just a sort of hallucination sort of thing, like changing appearance? Like,
Based off that role, you probably wouldn't be able to tell.
okay.
It's like I said, it was very blurry. However, when you do wake up, I'm assuming you're in a bed.
Yeah.
You turn to one side and Mooney's sitting in a chair next to you.
Oh, jeez. What are you doing here?
Oh, oh, hello. I felt something interesting, so I came downstairs. Downstairs, I mean down a desk. It's a thing I do.
You're in my room.
Yes, and what did you see?
It's kind of all of a mesh, to be honest. The most sort of crystal things that I can explain is it was a very peaceful area by the ocean. It was very dark and saturated.
Oh, she says, you went to Backup's realm.
Oh, he feels indifferent about it.
Then there, I saw a man on the horizon, very tall, thin, and he was interchanging the way he looked. So
Yeah, that's probably Backup, she says.
over and over again.
Indifferent about his appearance.
She says, maybe you probably didn't want it to happen, but I kind of forced you to come back.
Well, if I'm being honest, thank you. I have no interest in the gods of this realm, so no matter what they offer, I have my own
Wow,
It was sad.
ideologies.
That's
So
why backup likes you.
maybe you saved me.
Yeah, I have a feeling what he was going to do to you wasn't probably going to be the most advantageous for you. He was probably going to make you similar to a touch on Avatar, like the other gods are doing to the rest of your party teammates. But in your case, it'd be somewhat different. Here's how my theory is. Would you like to hear the theory?
Oh god.
Sure.
I don't know the machinations of divine energy that much, but I have been tinkering with it a little bit, thanks to Amy and the cat.
Visits from the cat, have you?
Yes, the cat. I've taught it some words.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
Anything I should keep an eye out for?
Oh no, it can now communicate through basic messages, but it can only say a couple of words.
Like fucking shit and bollocks.
Or protect your deformities.
Oh, yeah! I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
It spoke to me, didn't it?
Yeah.
In common.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, we've been not experimenting with the cat, because if we experimented on the cat without his blessings, he'd probably try and kill us. But we played with it, with a little bit of yarn,
You got your time with Derek that you wanted then.
Oh yes, much so. So anyway, me and Amy were doing things, playing with the cat. You know how it is. And
Say it. Say it. I could see that one running up. Well, I would say it.
In principle, the basket is very contained in its area, so it's not very exploitable. However, as Amy explained to you before, the more divine you get, the more properties you take on the god.
I think she might have mentioned it when we first met, but
So
I interested her in a different way from the others.
So our theory is, and this is just a theory, if Bacca put a canister of divine energy in you, it would have holes in it.
Right, okay.
Because since you've already got divine blood, your blood would essentially not attack the canister, but try and indoctrinate it into yourself. So what would happen is your body would become divine itself rather than the canister. You would have stronger properties, say maybe you'd be a bit stronger, more intelligent, more wise. But in exchange for that, you would take on more properties of the god that put the canister in you. So in the case if backup was going to put a canister in you, you may become a bit more indifferent, more magically inclined, talented. You're already talented, but
Oh, thank you.
Must be love,
Love,
love.
nothing more.
but more talented, she says. So
That's the best.
so yeah, I'm glad you did that, because otherwise your whole premise of individuality would probably go out to the window. But don't worry, if he was going to put a canister in you, we had plans.
Stop it.
Like I mentioned, in our little tea parties, there's a different type of god running blood running
Yes.
through my veins.
Don't worry, and she'll lean in to try and hug you, and she'll say, "I'll protect you."
Don't worry what he just
Just
did
said
to you.
to you.
Nothing but
I
what
think
I'm
like the
about
hair
to
on the
do
back
to
when I
you.
could stand up in a bad way, like an unsure way. but-
Yeah, and she'll say, "Well, I'll go back now."
It's gonna be Amy in my bedroom.
But she said,
Boom! Get out! Sorry.
but she said, if he was going to touch you, he wouldn't have gotten away with it.
I don't want to be a slave to the God's will. I don't plan on being here forever. I want to go home.
I can see that, she says. Well, good night, she says.
Good night. Maybe send a message before you decide to turn.
Oh no, I had to do it straight away, otherwise he would have done shit to you. I can't have that happening.
Alright.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
She really cares for him, doesn't she? Fair play.
And Derek she cares for as well, but he broke her hand, so
Better than her heart.
yeah.
A hand can be fixed.
Garvila's next. You got 16, so it's more clear,
Yes.
but you might not be able to decipher it as well, basically, if that makes sense. So you might not be able to make sense of what's happening.
Yeah, like he was.
Yeah.
Better than, but not as
Yeah.
much.
So you are in a perspective of a different person that you don't know. You're looking around and it looks like you're just writing stuff down. But what you're writing down seems to be weapon related. So it looks like there's a ship with a multiple like cannons on it. And as you look to the details of the cannons more, it looks like whoever's working on this boat is putting some sort of rail gun on the boat.
Ooh, shiny. Shiny.
And you understand the concept at face value, but you don't know the machinations behind
I
it.
can't figure out
How it works. Yeah, but you know what it
Wish
is.
you did.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you hear alarm.
Yeah.
You hear alarm bells going off. It sounds like huge sirens. The person that's perspective you're seeing through gets up out of a chair. It looks like a very dimly lighted room with a candle on the table. Whoever it is opens the door, and outside there's like, it looks like you're underground somewhere, and there's about 50-60 houses around you in this underground facility.
Is it like a Fallout vault, for example, sort of?
No, it's more like the houses are built into the rock face.
Oh.
So it's very.
So, and with dwarves.
But yeah, essentially, you see a lot of dwarves running around screaming,
Okay. Yeah.
and you over and over again you hear people screaming, "She's here! She's here! She's here! Run away! Run away!" And they're all directly looking at you, and they're trying to get whoever this person is. They're trying to keep them well guarded. So all of a sudden, you have about 20 or 30 knight-like characters around you.
Dwarves.
Yeah, in full plate armor, guns.
Dwarven souls.
Yeah, swords and
Dwarves
shields.
in full plate
Yeah.
with guns.
Like
Yeah.
a Hobbit
I'm
back from
imagining World of Warcraft film here, just as they were charging.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks awesome to me. I don't care if you didn't like it.
And then
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
then about 5 or 6 mage-like dwarves in robes appear behind
Okay.
you, and they seem to be casting protective magic specifically on whoever you are.
Oh yeah, hang on. Gotta write down that this is a dream.
Yeah.
Dwarves in full plate.
Yeah.
With.
Unfortunately, this doesn't happen to Garfield.
I won't be able to see over them.
Yeah.
I was told by fate that he's not touched. Gargoyle's not touched.
You hadn't told me that. So.
No, I hadn't told you that.
Yeah.
You then hear banging, very loud banging, and it sounds like there's huge earthquakes going on above you, around you. You can't make sense of wherever it's coming from. And all of a sudden, all the doors around you look in one direction, and then whoever's perspective you are looks in that one direction, and there's a huge archway, like iron door. And it looks like whatever's happening is banging on the door. And then all of a sudden...
Huge iron door?
Yeah, huge iron door. And then it's probably about 40, 50 feet high.
To us, fate told me that no one was touched. That's really confusing with that everything going on.
And all of a sudden the door starts to cave in. It
Right.
sounds like something's punching through. And then all of a sudden the door sort of like blasts open. And you recognise her. The woman that was playing the card game with you is the one behind the door.
I need to stand up in a bit. My legs are going dead.
The woman playing cards bursts through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll describe her again. Brunette, black hair, very pretty, very tall. She's still wearing the same outfit.
Ooh, that's
Green shawl, blue turquoise dress up to knee height. Not tight fitting, but
what was
enough.
the dress colour, sorry? Blue.
Turquoise,
Turquoise.
with a green shawl wrapped around her, sort of like the back, and she's like holding it in sort of an elegant manner.
Mm-hmm.
And she just walks through the door, and she's she turns to whoever your character is and goes, "I've come to collect my trophy."
I tried to speak.
You can't.
I thought no.
Yeah.
That's why I say I tried.
Yeah. The dwarves take no. The ones with the guns, the mages, they start wailing on this woman from range. So you see 20 or 30 cannons, bullets, firebolts, fireballs, lightning bolts.
It looks.
It's all coming towards this woman. Yes, it's like a mini explosion.
Yeah, and Battle of Hogwarts, for example, just
Yeah,
yeah.
but at one person.
Oh yeah, but that's what it's sort of in my head. I mean, yeah, cool. Sweet.
So basically, clouds of dust. Basically, they one of the dwarves wave their hand like that, and they stop the fire, the onslaught, and the dust settles, and the woman is completely unharmed. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it looks like she picks out the book. You recognise the book because she pulled it out when somebody tried to cast a spell on her. I think you tried to cast suggestion on her, and it failed.
Possibly, I think so, yeah.
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 And then she says, one word. Wizard. And then above you, she casts meteor shower.
Oh God.
Whoa.
You said most people on this plane can only go up to 7th level spells.
Yes, most people.
This isn't most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fudge.
And literally, where you're standing,
Yeah.
obliterated.
Yeah.
Your perspective comes to eventually, and all you see is fire, rubble, a lot of corpses. It looks like you're the only one that's come out unscathed. However your perspective you're coming from seems quite hardy. It also helped that you had a
Am
lot.
I male or female? It's something I get.
It's not.
I look
Male, I would say.
Okay, so yeah.
But dwarves, it's very hard to distinguish the gender, basically.
Oh,
Because
so I'm a dwarf. I thought I was going to be
No.
not a dwarf then for some reason.
no,
Oh, okay.
no.
Cool. So yeah, I come out unscathed.
She then comes out of the debris, and she walks casually, making a beeline to you. You seem to a gun appears in your hand, and you start firing this huge onslaught at her, but she's deflecting the bullets like this
Oh wow.
with her bare hands.
Cool.
She then, you're on the ground, prone, and you're just you're trying to back away from this, but she's just walking casually. That you know the moment you take your eyes off her, you can feel it in your head. You're fucked, basically.
Yeah.
But she gets closer and closer, and eventually she grabs your character by the neck and lifts them up in the air like that. And then all of a sudden, yet again, she says a combination of words. She says sorcerer, monk, wizard, cleric. Yeah. And then sort of like some sort of like a fingers light up. Each finger lights up.
Sorcerer, monk.
Cleric.
Yeah.
The combination of those three.
Just those.
There's just those three, she says.
Yes.
And she rams her hand into your stomach.
Oh.
And then you whoever's protecting you goes unconscious.
Oh,
Wow. Fingers glow, stomach dead.
Yeah.
It's like she just made a Venya. Venya can carve and is every class at once, he said.
Oh, okay. I guess I've woken up.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Nobody in the room.
Just you. in
I
your
thought
room.
Derek would just be there like this.
Fuck, Derek!
No, the cat's there.
Better not be. I'll put a bullet through that.
The cat's sitting on the floor.
Well, hit.
No, the back bullet deflects off it. And then it just walks out of the room.
Actually dance and that looks like
Well, the wisdom's even.
No, it's learned he's somewhat resistant, so he's just given up on that element. It's just making his life hell in different ways, that's all.
So, from my concept, did I get that Amy and Mooney are now using the cat to spy in a sort of way?
Possibly.
Oh, nice.
Oh no, the cat has its own individuality, as Derek
But-
said, but
yeah.
maybe it's aligned with them.
Yeah, it's gone.
So the
Yeah, I'll do your thing.
cat women and the cat are getting on swimming. Let's just put it that way.
Brilliant.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
God damn.
And now finally we get to Tyler at 25. So you wake up and you don't know whose perspective you're seeing it from, but then after a while you realise you're halal again.
Again.
Yeah.
I'm
And
getting used to it.
and on the horizon you just see red, lots and lots of red. And what Halal's doing is on her hands and knees, and she's clawing at this dirt basically, and it looks like she's on the verge of tears. And she's like, it's nothing. She's saying stuff. Nothing's working. And she's trying to. It looks like she's trying to cast magic of some sort, and nothing is sticking to the earth basically. And she's in a combination of panic and tears basically. Eventually, a woman appears behind Halal and touches her shoulder. Halal looks up, and the woman is long blonde hair. Green tinted dress with leaves adorned.
Ooh, very druidic.
Yeah, very druidic. And she sort of kneels down and hugs Halal, and she's like, "It's okay, we'll figure something out. It won't always be like this."
You're up all night with the baby. Let's go to sleep.
No, that she's got something different.
Oh,
shit.
sorry. I take that back.
This is all happening within the combination of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh, in the week.
so it's different times basically.
I'm dragging this
okay.
one, eat me.
Sorry.
At some point during the week, this
Yes,
happens.
this
Fair
happens.
enough. Alright.
Sorry.
Sorry.
And Halal's just like, "What are we gonna do? We were put here for a reason, and we can't do it." And for the first time, Halal doesn't sound as chaotic. She sounds very more innocent than normal. And she's like, "Don't worry, we'll take care of things." Then it blacks out. Then you go black in again, and this time there's 6 figures standing in a circle. Halal, you recognise the other one as Dragel.
Mm.
The woman with the green tinted dress with blonde hair. The guy in the purple lab coat.
Oh.
You see a short, it looks like female, long hair in heavy armour, who, although they're standing in a circle, she's minding her own business and is just looking at the floor for some reason. And a very strong, tall, masculine man in shining armour. And Halal seems still disjointed, and she's like, we were put here and there's nothing working and I don't understand, and I can only break things, she says. I don't understand.
Aw.
And you tie the character figuring out these must be the gods in their early years. And
I think that's a good
It's
way.
the Big
When
Bang.
realised it was another lady there.
Wow.
and Dragel and Aetherius seem to be more collected, and they're telling the other three who seem to be panicking, other than the short one in a heavy armor. She's like, "Don't worry, we'll figure things. We've got some time." And Backup, who you assume is Backup, just goes, "We don't have much time," he says. "As divine beings, we need followers. Do you see any followers around here?" he says. "No, we've got limited time, limited resources. We're all gonna burn out and die eventually."
I feel that.
Wow. Deep.
And Aetherius and Halal and Trom hearing this start to panic. And Aetherius and Dragel are like, "Did you really have to word it that way?" And Bacco is just like, "Yeah."
6. Yeah.
And then people start to realise that Moradin is doing stuff with her own devices and ignoring them, tinkering, and they're just like, "Can you?" Aetherius is like, "Can you stop doing that for a minute? We need to come up with a plan." And she says, While you lot were muttering to yourselves, wondering about your predicament, I actually was doing something." And she says, "Look, I made this." And she's got like what appears to be a small air elemental in her hand.
Is it?
I like the sudden realisation. I like the realisation.
And she's
Carry
like,
on with your dream. I'm enjoying
yeah,
it.
so she's like,
Don't wake up.
and Aetherius is like, "What is that?" And she goes, "Well, you said we've got limited resources, right? So I use myself as a resource, and the rest of you aren't going to be doing bugger all, are you?" And Aetherius is like, "Using yourself as a resource?" And she says, "Yes, you've got to be very intuitive and ingenuitive in these sort of situations, desolate land, death upon us, And Bacco is just like, "I agree with that statement, unfortunately." And he sort of like backs away. And
Something he wasn't indifferent
yeah.
about.
And he sort of like mutters to himself. Halal and Trom are sort of like panicking together, and they seem to be starting to argue, and it's like, "It's your fault!" And Trom's like, "My fault?" And she's like, "Yes, you and your stupid glowy stuff, what can you do?" And he's like, "Well, at least I glow. What do you do? Make little bloopy bloops in the air?" She's like, "Shut your
Good word. I like that word.
shut your goddamn mouth," she goes. And she goes, "Yes, that's right, we're all gods here, but you're acting a bit like a child, aren't you?" And she's like, "No, I'm not!" And she's stabbing her feet on the ground. And Dragel and Aetherius is like, "Enough, just please, we're trying to figure out what Moradin is doing in her weird little bubble." And she's like, "Yeah, so I did this thing," and you start to notice the speech patterns are similar to Derek.
No, it was.
But more feminine and more intellectual. So she's got a slur to her words, but there's thought behind it.
Intellectual.
Yeah. And she's like, yes. So as I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted, she goes, we've got divine energy, so I just siphoned some of it off and put it in his own casket, and ta-da! This is what it made, but I can't really contain it for long. And then she was like, so Aetherius and Dragalla's like, so how is this relevant? She says, okay, and then out of thin air, a bottle appears in her hand, and then she puts the elemental in the bottle, and she goes, I've just made myself an artificial follower. Don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not dying anytime soon.
Fuckers!
Nice.
She says, but you.
So we did what Moradin couldn't.
Yeah. So she's like, no, you're worshipping yourself, dear. And she says it's some form of worship.
Again, more than any of you are doing. Sassy! I like it. It's my turn to go.
Then out of nowhere, a woman with red hair appears on the horizon.
This must be 0.
And then it blacks out again.
I've seen that woman with red hair, haven't I?
Yeah.
So-
But it's her dream. And then one more, you come back with blackness again. Yet again, it's Halal, and she's clawing at the dirt again. But this time,
It goes right for her.
Back to the beginning.
her, as Tron put it, bloopy bloops are sticking to the earth a bit better now. And then in the corner, you see a single sort of like flower appear out of it. But the moment the flower appears, it withers and decays. And she seems quite upset by it.
Nature of chaos.
No.
And then all of a sudden, you hear a voice behind her, and the voice behind her goes, "No, you're doing it wrong."
I recognise the voice.
Yeah, you do.
Was Juanita 0?
Fucking hell. Okay.
And then black again.
Juanita was
I
0.
will be honest, if that's the end of it, I
Yeah.
think that voice in my head will have, like, out
Yeah.
of whatever trance I was in.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Juanita was 0 all the time.
That's news to me.
Not you can't confirm that.
Oh no, I mean I'm just saying.
In theory, it's a theory. It's a
I was
theory.
there at the beginning of
It's a
this
theory.
lane.
A
Yeah.
D&D theory.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got a theory that Fate must be like Zero's followers or something, because no one else knows who Fate is.
I don't know.
And he knew who Juanita was.
I think Fate is something else again. Fate is going to come in later again somehow.
Right. Okay.
I think-
Next, we will do Kira.
Oh.
While you're
That was-
sleeping, roll con saving throw.
Nice.
I don't know.
24.
Help myself. That will be that.
Would you say Kira is a light or heavy
That's
sleeper?
like a...
Oh god. I'm gonna say
You sleep together?
maybe about 7 as a heavy sleeper. 6, 7.
So she's
So leaning towards it.
heavy-ish.
Healthy sleeper.
Okay. Yeah, you feel a violent shake eventually, and you sort of like come. Where are you sleeping, by the way? Outside, is it? In the-
Probably in my own little
a
tent
tree,
space
yeah,
thing,
yeah. It's the Green Enchantress. And she's like, "Hello. I don't really have much time. But I have to go back.
Oh, you well, back to the woods?
No, back to the Elven Society.
Oh, you were with the elves?
I'm technically a direct messenger of Aetherius.
Yeah.
And I've been trapped here for a while, but suddenly I've been summoned back.
By the elves or Aetherius?
The elves. The head maiden is calling me.
What do they want?
I don't know particularly. It sounded quite urgent though. So I'll be heading back. But before I go, she says, while I was there, before I was moving my plants around, she says, my necessities to live back there, she said. Aetherius' twin brother gave me a personal invite to you. And she hands you sort of like, it looks like a leaf, basically. So now you have a leaf.
I've got a tree!
Druid stereotypes, man.
Brilliant.
What does this leaf do?
You look at it,
Look
and
at
there's gold imprint on it.
Oh,
Ooh.
shiny.
Yeah.
It's
We're
in
improving.
Yeah.
Celestial. It's in celestial.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, is it?
It's common.
Oh wait, yeah.
Oh, not even silver or anything.
You've been invited to attend a meeting or a hearing with the head maiden
Ooh.
and Aetherius' twin brother.
Oh no.
But it's an invite, an invitation. So you haven't done anything. From the sounds of it, you haven't done anything wrong. But they want to meet up for some reason.
Yeah, I wouldn't think I've done anything wrong.
No.
Wait. Does it say where, or do you know where Green Enchantress? Where this is new.
Well, Aetherius' twin brother falls in and out of consciousness quite a lot due to the damage that Aetherius has gained.
It's connected to her brother.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, no.
Aetherius' brother is her angel, essentially. They're
Oh,
twins.
Oh no! I hope it's not contagious.
No. Basically, she as her angel, he feels what she feels to a certain extent.
Oh.
And because they're twins as well, there's a whole equilibrium
Oh,
thing.
they're twins.
Yes.
Oh.
So he falls in and out of consciousness. Not mostly, he's unconscious nowadays. But when he was conscious, he had a vision claiming that he needed specifically you and the two newest maidens that they found to meet up.
Who are these maidens? Are they also halflings?
No, one is a half elf called Amy. Oh, that's her pet name. Her real name is Amethyst Dincurvy. She's an Outworlder.
Amethyst and what?
Dincurvy.
Jesus Christ. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And the
Doesn't mean
other?
nothing.
I didn't really get a surname, she said, but I believe her name was Sophie.
Yeah. Okay. How soon am I needed?
Hmm?
How soon am I needed for this invitation?
They're all waiting there for you, essentially. So
Ooh.
if you have business to take for, it's not fully urgent, but Theris had a vision that you three specifically need to meet up. So she's forcing the issue, basically.
Okay. Should I bring Ron?
Yes, bring Ron. He's adorable, she says.
Brilliant.
Oh, you missed that, didn't you?
I wasn't awake, so it doesn't matter.
No, never mind. Okay.
Like if my character's not there,
You'll find out.
Yeah.
yeah, if my character's not there, does it matter if I miss something? It means that I can learn through it in a more natural way.
It's true. That is true.
Yeah. So there you go. You were being invited.
Will I see you there? Are you gonna go for a? I don't want to lose
I'm
you.
afraid not. Where you'd be going is not a place where I can tread.
Oh.
You'll be going to the entrance of the Feywilds.
I thought you were amazing and could go everywhere. Oh, the Feywilds.
It's
Wait, I'm going to the Feywilds?
a holier place, she says.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, I have to go now. If I do see you again, you have the Acorn if you need to call me.
And a leaf, thank you.
Okay. Well, the leaf is your invitation. That's not. She says, never mind.
Well, I'll miss you, and so will Ron.
She hugs you.
Oh.
And then she'll say, well, it was nice meeting you, and it was nice to meet a humanoid which doesn't have that much malicious intent in them.
Oh, no.
It was nice because all your friends are a bit
Crazy.
yeah, bye.
Gotta,
She walks out of the tent, basically.
I'm gonna go back to sleep for a bit.
Yeah. And then finally we have Warwick. Roll Constitution.
Ooh.
Save.
Just straight up con.
18.
Okay. How heavy a sleeper are you?
Sorry.
How heavy a sleeper are
I
you?
would say work is a fairly light sleeper.
Okay. You hear a voice in your head. How?
Hello.
You recognise the voice. It's Frederick.
Ah, hello, Frederick.
Hello. So we're trying to take accommodation in your head, and it's not really. There's a lot in here, he says.
Yeah, I know there's a lot in there.
So me and Trisha are
I thought Trisha was inside the crossbow.
no, we're currently no. We don't live in the weapons. We channel our abilities through the weapons, but we're taking premise inside you.
Okay.
Hope you don't mind.
Well, do I have a say in the matter?
You hear Trish in the background going.
No, not really.
You hear Trish going in the background. Oh, what are those things that humanoids call to make things look better?
Curtains?
Yes, drapes. We need drapes, she says. Lots and lots of drapes. Satin drapes, she says.
That basically means no, you haven't got a choice.
Be my guest then.
And she says, yeah, you can attune to the weapon now.
I can?
Yeah, well, we've fully taken accommodation in you, and you gave us your permission, so...
Okay.
La-di-da and all that, she says.
Wow.
Oh,
So I've got a couple of voices in my head. This is... Yeah.
Well, every once... Frederick Button, he goes, oh, so like, every once in a while, if you need someone to talk to, or like, you just need that little more oomph,
Yes.
you can just be like, Frederick Tish, and we'll be like, and Trish is like, I think he gets the idea, dear.
Just admire the drapes.
Can I see the drapes?
She says, think of drapes.
Yes, I'm thinking of them.
In your head, you see like red satin drapes, and then all of a sudden you see it's like a mage's hand going through the drapes, and she goes, "Oh, I can feel the satin." She goes.
Well, I'm glad you're happy.
You are never going to be lonely again.
I know.
And she says, "By the way, you better start feeding your rabbit, otherwise it's going to die.
I thought I was feeding it.
Feed it more."
I can feed it more often then.
Rabbit. Fucking judgmental.
You don't remember my rabbit bracelet?
He's got
Familiar?
he has a familiar essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So
I've been feeding it every day.
what's his name again?
Rabbit.
Yeah, it was rabbit.
You don't need to feed it a whole box of chicken.
I called it rabbit.
No, he didn't.
Yes, I did.
Was it like something like Firebrand or something?
No.
Oh well, I'll have to go through past episodes. That's not fourth wall breaking.
I'm calling it. It's called rabbit.
Rabbit.
Okay, rabbit it is then. I mean, your choice. She was going to say your funeral. She was like, I don't want you to die because you know.
Because hang on a second. Did I actually ask it what its name was? Yeah, I asked it what its name was. I didn't give it a name. I asked it what its name was, and it never got back to me.
Oh, I see. She says. Well, that was a stupid thing to do.
Well, it never told me what its name was, so.
Yeah, okay, I'm going now. Trish says, and Frederick's just like, yeah. So,
Bye.
thanks for the invite.
No problem.
Yeah. So.
Make yourselves comfortable.
Yes, good. We'll do that. We don't really have bodies, but embodied heads, body voices in your head isn't that bad.
Could be worse.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
And that was it for you.
Right.
I guess I'm going to. I don't want to get rid of this because this was a gift, but yeah, I'll tune from this and see if anyone wants it. Because it was a gift from the Fire Giants.
Right. Okay. Let's assume that it's the end of the week. You've all done your things, had your visions. You can talk amongst yourself as characters, basically.
Quick question: what's the benefits of me now being attuned to my weapon?
Like
Because I will attune to it.
You are instead of the 60 foot, it's 120 foot. So it's double space and it's double damage essentially.
Wow.
If I do the fling back.
Yeah, if you do. And instead of once per day, it's once per short rest.
Once per short rest.
Yeah.
And I can choose how far to send them.
Oh no, you can only send them as far as the 120 feet.
So I have to do 120.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
And, I mean, as a homebrew item, if you want to choose, you can. Would you rather choose?
Well, no, I'll go for that. Once per short push of 120 feet with a 1d6 per 10 foot traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone want the fire giant belt because it was a gift from the fire giant?
What's it do?
I'm just going to say if you attune to it, you get 25 base strength.
I've got no use for
I've
that.
got no use for that.
I know someone that's got use for it, but I'm not going to say.
Backup tried to touch me.
The druid.
Imagine wild shaping as
I'm ignoring
Imagine
that.
wild shaping a squirrel and having 25 strength. That'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
1 HP, 25 strength.
My standard roll is like bare form of like bark skin.
Or you
That's
could
the
give it to
standard.
Ron.
Put belt on the dragon.
Yeah.
Holy shit balls.
Well, like I said, it's there for anyone who wants it. If not, I will keep it because it was a gift from the fire
Or you can
giants.
give it to Derek or the cat.
The cat.
No. Oh,
Like I
God.
said, we are keeping it in the group. It's
It
not
would be
something
good.
to be
It
sold.
would be
because
good
was
for
a gift.
Derek to have it, mind. I reckon Derek would be good for that.
That's an idea.
My strength is piss poor.
So backup tried
I
to
don't have
touch
the
you.
attunement slot.
Yes.
I did hear.
Yes, Backup tried to touch me.
Is that it?
No, Mooney stopped him.
Who?
Mooney.
This
This
guy-
She's in the house.
This
How the
one.
fuck did she get in?
I don't know. I was sleeping and woke up, she was there.
Creepy.
So she's got
Tell me
room
about it.
privileges now.
So when you actually sleep in
Basically has been met, guys. Basically has been met.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
did
was-
you invite her? Did she stay the night?
no, I just had a dream and
And then she was there.
yeah, I couldn't really recall it very well. I just got bits and pieces.
Did
and
you did you go out for a drink with her
No,
the night before?
she
And
literally.
you brought her home?
I'm pretty sure she literally teleported to my room to stop Backup from turning me into its touch. That's how she explained it, sort of. Which I'm happy for. I don't
Okay,
care
you are.
for it, but yeah. So apparently she can do that.
Creepy.
She can stop the gods.
Get wards against teleporting on this house then.
Also, Garville, if
Yeah?
you promise not ever to sell this and keep this on you always, you can have this.
Ooh, shiny ties.
Oh, you're giving him the ultimate for the damage.
Yeah, because I'm never going to use it.
Are you not?
No.
Oh. Attunement.
He's already got 5 million bullets in his
Yes. I have just bought like 1,000, but I
Yeah.
can put those on the market.
Yeah.
Just go, Derek, I've got a job for you. Here's 1,000.
You
odd
still need
bullets.
at least one.
Oh, fine, I'll keep 3.
Okay.
I'll keep a clip's worth because it makes it look good then. But my bonus of reloading. Do I still have to reload the gun?
Read the item
read
first.
the
Okay.
item.
As
I
you
think it works.
reload.
It specifically says arrows, but it's ammunition, so I'm assuming it'd work on bullets as well.
It has 20 charges, so it's still worth keeping my bullets.
Just in case. You
That's more of an item if you're desperate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Backup didn't really get a good look at him, but he liked purple. Just so everyone knows.
If we ever need to meet up with Backup, bring him a gift of purple.
If you see some sort of godly creature in purple, it's probably Backup.
Yeah. Well, with the bullet is itself the +3, isn't it? Not the weapon.
Right, it makes the bullet
The
itself
self.
is plus
The
1.
bullets you
but
shoot
it's
from
also
that.
benefits.
Yeah, the gun.
So maybe that's just damage, right? The bullet damage. You don't attack with.
No, because it
attack with
adds
the gun.
+1 to the attack roll
Plus
and
1
the
to
damage.
everything, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Like I could have used it, but no, I preferred the other things that I had it tuned to. Like you said, though, you're never allowed to sell that. Okay, that's my clause in giving it to you, because it was also a gift from someone who we've done a job for.
That's Sophie's ring.
Yes.
Nice.
It's good, isn't it?
I don't remember.
It was from last session we found out about Sophie. It's one of Jules's past
It's something else,
Penny farming. She was
Yeah.
from the other reality.
But she's already dead, which is how I knew she was already dead because
God
nothing.
damn it! I just said the name 20 minutes ago.
Sophie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. It's good to know.
Yeah, I just wanted a refresher on the information because me and
Yeah.
Garvey are here. We're just discussing it.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Sorry. Back up and being touched and how you brought your woman, your wonderful.
She clearly let herself in.
No, I beg to differ. I think you went out last night and got really quite pissed and forgot that you
we
brought
only
it home.
drink. We only drink tea.
Yes,
Oh, I
tea.
like tea.
Yes, of course. Just tea.
It was in the tea.
I'm quite a hardy person. It'd be hard for me to get drunk.
Yes, but we're in Finrasda, boy.
And / drunk, I guess.
We're in Finrasda, boy.
Well, I just had this weird dream last night, and
What stays
it looks
in
like that
Finrasda?
dream
No,
wasn't
what
really a
happens in
dream. It
Finrasda
was
stays in
actually
Finrasda.
happening.
Okay.
Because she needed it to fit.
Why would she interfere?
Because she stopped him from making me a touch like
Surely a good thing.
Ty would be touched. I don't have any love for the gods of this realm. I don't want
Well,
to be
clearly
touched.
they have for you, though. So.
Well, it's my own plans.
Isn't it selfish of her to have stopped it?
It's my own plans. No, actually, I didn't want to deal with the gods, so may have been selfish, but it worked out for me fine.
I like the subtle use of text there.
I saw Derek being born.
What?
Hey?
Wow, what?
How did
But,
you do that?
but Derek was. But he wasn't born. He's like a piece of.
He was made.
So he has a mom?
Made?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Moradin.
Where is Derek?
Derek!
Yeah, you gave me bullets just now. This is
Hi,
Seen
Derek.
you being made.
I did see you being made.
You got a mom.
I remember.
I didn't actually give him bullets. Sorry, really.
Oh.
I was saying out of pain
Oh.
for that bit.
I remember Red and Halal screaming a lot,
Yeah.
and
The
Trom
good old days.
and Trom seemed to be a bit of a dick.
As ever.
Ooh.
I mean, I like Trom. I like all the gods. What are you talking about?
Derek, do you remember Winita?
No.
You have no recollection of Winita.
I remember when that we met with Nicky Cox.
But you don't have any recollection of before then.
No.
Because she was there when
No.
this plane was nothing.
No. Well, when I was born, I think it was just Moradin, experimenting. So she put me in a bottle, I think, for a really long time.
I'm not surprised, you're irritating.
What did you say about Derek?
Irritating?
Oh, in a lovely way.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
I like how that resolves everything. Okay.
That shut everyone up.
Roll the wisdom saving throw.
What's he going to do? Oh, it's the cat.
Yeah.
Cat. The cat's a cunt. He's fine, the cat. The cat's a cunt.
13?
Oh, gosh.
You bang your head on the table repeatedly.
No.
Oh, wow.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
You get to the point
God.
where there's like a slight
Dent.
gush of blood.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm gonna run up to you.
I'm going to cast Hold Person on the cat.
It rolls a.
It's not perfect.
If you let go of the cat,
Oh
I
yeah,
pick
it's
up your
not.
head.
It's not a humanoid, so it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. That's your whole monster.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, person, and you
I
got
wasn't
some
aware of
humanoids.
that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And you got some humanoids.
Yeah, whole monster's a fourth element.
Okay,
Not
I
second
wasn't
element.
aware of that. I'm not gonna lie.
Damn,
Oh,
I
sweet,
have nothing I
okay.
can use on this cat.
Leave the
Demons
cat
can
alone,
be
it's
humanoid.
okay.
You hear a message in your head. You'll be like, no,
Fuck.
no. Derek, good.
I don't have friends or anything. I can't get him to summon a wolf to go after.
It's on a bloody Dalek
We
oil
can get it
is.
hoverboard.
Yeah,
As
it's
long
on
as
a.
not using his.
It's on a. You're lucky it didn't shoot you with the drone.
It has
Get
got
paid
an
to destroy water.
Oh, I need to ask Derek.
You have
Shit,
paid
I
to
forgot he
destroy
made
water.
those gun drones.
That's a shame. You
Oh,
could have
bloody
drenched
gun
it in
drone that I
water.
control with my brain too. All three.
So yeah, no, I don't know, Anita. I was in a bottle. Good job in there.
Well, why is she relevant?
She was there. She was there at the start of all of this.
We need her.
Yeah.
Some weird Mexican woman.
What's Mexican?
Yeah.
It's what I imagine where she's from.
Is he?
Do they also do nice food?
Shit. Yeah, they do good like tacos and stuff.
Who's that?
What's a taco?
We've had the
nachos.
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 They sound good. If it's
Are you
anything
trying
like
to
the
say
food
it's
yesterday,
yeah,
it was-
yeah.
Because
but
I
then
was
nachos.
asked him
So-
how
Yeah.
what it was. So do I
Okay.
know if,
How do we get them?
do I feel like
Yeah, no, it's matches because he told you he didn't know either, did he?
Oh, okay. So you had an especially weird one.
It was a really odd dream. Being as elves don't dream.
It. He said he remembers others being there. Who were they?
Oh, just all the gods.
Oh.
Yeah.
did you see Purple Douche?
Yeah, there was some idiot in purple. See?
He's probably back.
I don't think I
He is a
connect
bit of
mine.
a dick.
Yeah.
Would I connect mine to being a god? Anyway,
Huh?
would I connect mine to being a god?
What, Moradin?
No, the one I saw.
Which
The
one?
dwarf that I just saw, that I was just in. Would I connect it to being a god?
Didn't you just get strangled and someone shoved their fingers in your chest?
You would discern based off that you were male though. Have you described the gods at all?
No, I wouldn't have done.
No. Okay. So yeah, you
Yeah, no.
you the character may have connected
Mm,
that,
mm, mm.
but as a DM, I would say no.
No, that's fine. That's why
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
so I'm
Yeah.
asking, yeah.
They're two separate things.
I think in most respects, I was very unimpressed with the rest of the gods.
Wait, Moradin.
Yeah.
Don't forget she's hello.
Well, Halal was a bit
Over there.
childish.
She was hopeless.
Halal is brilliant.
Halal was hopeless in your dream, though.
Yeah, she was like.
Why
are we
getting what we want?
Why?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to that at that point in time. I was looking at the other god that I like.
Which is
No one will tell you.
Drabel.
Like she was the first god. It's like the third and fourth gods who were like the voice of reason to the first two gods.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Well, I guess if we're talking about dreams, I have an especially weird one with dwarves. And dwarves did magics and had lots of guns. You know that scene in the World of Warcraft film?
Oh,
I don't know that films. What's a film?
Personally, I've
I
never
described
seen
what
it.
they looked like. Full plate, shields and guns. They're sort of like standing like this. I just summon the gun to hand and make it look like I'm holding a shield, I guess. Standing there full plate, ready for whatever's coming through, like the iron door. She's like getting... She? Yeah, she. He. Sorry. He.
Or what the avatar you were in?
The being
It was
that
an
I
avatar?
was.
You said more than you should have missed you.
I'm not going to have heard that. The being thing that I was, was being protected by them and having, like, dwarf casters, like, spell of casting and protection and stuff. And then, boom, door. Now, you remember that woman we were playing cards with?
Yeah.
She burst through that door.
You're sure it was her?
Yes, I'm sure it was her.
What happened?
She proceeded to get wailed on by everything. Big fuck off explosions, lots of bullets flying, lots of spells flying. And then nothing.
What
She was unharmed.
Sounds like my kind of girl.
Unharmed.
what happened to you in the dream?
I'm getting to that. Unharmed. And then she cast meteor shower above my head.
What did you do?
I didn't do nothing.
What?
They all died. Then she came up to me and said, first of all, through the door actually, she said, "I've come to collect my trophy."
What trophy?
I couldn't speak. I couldn't say nothing. And then, yes. And then when she's like, as I say, unharmed after the wail on, she said, "Wizard." That's all she said. Then she walks up to me. As I say, after she's cast the meteor storm and every fucker is dead around me. And I was wailing on it for a bit as well with the fucking big ass, fucking brilliant looking gun. What was the gun? What did it?
It looks like a combination of a rifle and a cannon.
Nice.
Cool.
So
Something
yeah,
we've
huge.
seen before.
You would have seen.
Have we seen this weapon before?
No.
only this is the first time
You've seen it, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I haven't said anything about the railgun thing. No, that's for me.
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering whether it might be the one that we saw Pandora.
No,
Did you
which
say
where Pandora was using, it looked like a small hand pistol.
Nice.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, I did a quick description of that in proper time as well, and then and then she just essentially she's deflecting the bullets from this thing with just her hands, and they weren't small bullets. It wasn't a small gun. It was like bolter size Marines. Yeah. I'm going with that. It's canon now.
It's a cannon.
Yeah, it's canon now.
It's cannon.
That's essentially what a bolt is. It's a hand cannon.
Boom. Just fucking crazy brilliant. And yeah, then her hand goes. She says sorcerer, monk, cleric. Choke, clunk.
What do you mean clunk?
And then I'm done.
Yeah, what do you mean clunk?
Like choke, glowy hand into stomach.
That sounds like a nightmare, not a dream.
Yeah.
It was barely night, it was barely either, if I'm honest. It was fun.
She
But
wore you like
weird.
some kind of glove?
Clearly. Well, not me, but the thing that I
Wow,
was.
some of these
So-
people are weird.
I agree.
That's
The
very,
dream says a lot about you.
it's very
What does it say
anti-climactic.
about me?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, go on, do tell.
You and your guns,
Yeah, I love my guns. What about them? They're brilliant.
and women grabbing you on the neck and liking it.
I'd love a woman to grab me on the neck.
This is a character.
I'm confused. Where are we now?
It just says a lot about Gabrielle.
Garfield. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Garfield.
Fucking Garfield!
I could stick to Garfield actually.
Oh God, don't. Yes, yeah, well, like I said, while we're on subject of weird dreams, there you fucking go.
Why are we all getting weird dreams? Because that's 3 of us.
I didn't have any weird dreams. I got woken up. Might be why I didn't have any weird dreams.
Probably.
The Green Enchantress is gone
Ah, what? No!
Where's
Yeah,
she
no.
gone?
From where?
to the elves.
Why is she going to the
Why has she got there?
Oh, she had something she needed to do, and then I got given a leaf.
Oh, yes! More useless
It
things!
complements my acorn, where it's got words on it. I've actually got something I gotta do, so...
You gotta do a thing?
Oh, I
What
gotta
thing
do
you
a
gotta
thing.
What
Oh.
words does it have on?
Oh, I have a meeting with a theorist. And I'm just gonna show you. Yeah, so I have a meeting with... Yeah,
A theory.
yeah, his
No,
brother.
meeting. The wording is meeting with the theorist.
Yeah.
No, theorist is angel,
Yeah,
the head maiden,
yeah.
and the two newest maidens.
Does it say Sophie
So-
and Amy on the thing itself, or is that not?
She wouldn't have said it. Said the two newest maidens, but you know the names Sophie
Yeah.
and Amy.
No.
Two newest maidens.
Yeah, Sophie and Amy. Apparently,
The maidens with the
Amy.
thing that-
Amy is in
I believe so. I reckon
our
so.
Amy?
I think so.
No.
No, she's
Oh.
Viola.
No, well, yeah, no,
No.
she might not. No, it's
No,
not.
I didn't ask. So.
Cool.
I just
You
got-
did get her full name though. Amethyst and Kirby.
Yeah.
Do you say
No.
that? No?
No.
Sweet. Oh, so our Amy.
I don't know.
Okay, well, cool. But Sophie.
Clearly.
Sophie
Okay.
rings a bell.
Well, I'm gonna
The
be
thing I
meeting
just
them,
gave
so.
you?
Oh, is that belongs to that Sophie? I've got her ammo thing.
Viola mentioned that the maidens were like they were like the closest to Aetherius, was it? Something like that.
Don't know. All I know is that I've got to meet them in the Feywild. So if anyone wants me to pass on any messages,
Why don't we go with you?
We were planning to go there anyway to look for the Seekers.
Yeah, two birds, one stone.
yeah.
And there was that
population of elves and what we're
that
doing.
guild
Yeah,
that guild
swings
quest.
around us.
I don't know if you guys also have a leaf though.
There's plenty of leaves out the back.
Do you have a forgery kit?
I'm proficient in thieves' tools, so.
Thieves'
What
tools
you,
and forgery
what you
kits
want
are
to
two
do is
different things.
forge one of them leaves.
I don't need an invitation. I used to. It's fine.
Stuart, do you have the?
So does your connection with
Other than
Halal
us.
gonna
Yeah, 'cause
be
I was
supportive of my
No.
group of the theorists?
Huh?
It'll be
You
absolutely.
don't have one with you.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Don't worry about it.
Well, you keep
What's the
that.
worst that could happen? Few elves die.
Yeah,
No
it's
loss.
just-
Oh no dying.
Death.
Ah,
What?
No.
Were we killing?
only
When I
the
get
horrible
back, I
elves.
get
No.
So that's all
No.
of them then.
You do realise elves did
98%.
kidnap my parents, right?
Yeah, no, but okay. All Kira knows is that the Green
Wait, they
Enchantress has
killed
gone
your
to the
parents?
elves.
No, I told you they kidnapped my
Oh,
parents.
kidnapped. Oh yeah.
Those are the
experiments
kinds of
and stuff.
elves that we need to deal with.
Kill.
Well, it might also be good to go to the elves at some point.
So if
because
the Green Enchantress
has
is
gone
going, is she taking her druids with her?
there. I didn't ask.
We're looking after our gardens now.
It was a bit sad that she was going.
Have I got to hire someone new? What's the shop
Is
done
there
the
a
last couple of
gardening?
days?
What's what?
What's the shop been like? With the
Uh,
meteorite, I imagine profits are probably
Yeah.
up.
yeah. Halfway through the week as well, word have gotten out that you are underneath Rocky. You're also underneath Tarville Smithler on the 4th.
Oh, so profits
Gone.
are up.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at the inventory of the shop?
Yes.
Well, the Green
Well, you've got
Enchantress
right
was
now.
never with us. She was always elsewhere where we found her. She just sent the dryads to liaise, was
This
it?
is what we have.
Mm.
On the front, is it?
Yeah.
And they're
I
all
think
they're
we're
all
on-
they're all Derek specials, are they?
Yeah, they're all Derek specials. Go and get my
Okay.
sheet out. I'll organise.
Did I ever tell you guys about Frederick and what's her face? Trish.
I
There are two voices in my head.
think you mentioned it.
I can't remember if you mentioned it or not.
No, you haven't.
No.
Okay, I've never mentioned it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think what we've then mentioned it.
Well,
That
we
is
we
now
saw
assumed.
your sword smack someone like 60 feet away.
Yeah.
You have
We- we-
voices in your head?
No, I haven't told you. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
oh,
I'm
I
asking
thought-
out of character.
Okay,
if I
okay.
asked you guys about it.
Okay.
Told you guys about it. So yeah, we're
Then
going to
never
bring
mind.
it up then.
Daggers you've said were like, how much again?
Exactly.
5,000.
He doesn't want to tell you guys that he's got voices in
Do
his
we
head.
start making notes of how
Yeah, I
much
can
you
get
said
that.
things were, or...
No, I'll give you.
Are you spending a lot more time with your sword though?
No. You know that I've been using my sword
Yeah.
more than previously.
I
I was using my sword the entire time during the fight with the guy in armour.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing all that time. I was only using my sword and my hand crossbow.
Because that's the first time I saw you use it. Because by the time
Right,
I saw
okay.
you use it, you use your fist and your crossbow.
So
I also used my sword and crossbow
No,
in
you,
the
you
tournament.
use your short sword crossbow and your short sword of warding and crossbow as well.
So we're all going to the Feywild?
Crossbow's warning.
Crossbow's
So-
warding.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The sword was always the Trom sword.
Ah,
You've only ever seen me with the Trom
That
sword.
could be fun.
I
got told to
I
bring
always
one.
intermix it though with my hands and the
See,
sword.
they-
I don't think you should take the drum.
okay, here we go.
The Green Enchantress
I haven't
told me
marked
to
it
take
yet. I haven't
Ron.
touched it. But I've written numbers
That's
down.
good. Yeah.
If the Green Enchantress told me to take Ron, I'm
You've
gonna
written
take
numbers
Ron.
down your side.
Yeah.
is it?
So you've sold 12 daggers at 5,000 each.
Nice.
60,000.
5,000 each. I can't understand my own writing. 12 down.
Keyboard.
Go. 5,000 G.
Yeah. The scimitars you sold 6.
6.
They
Yeah.
sold for 8,000 each.
Nice.
That's 48,000.
Yeah.
108,000.
Short sword you sold 6. They also sold for 8,000 each.
156,000.
You sold 1 great axe, which sold for 10,000.
Why?
Don't forget, he's still got to pay for stuff for the shop though.
Mm-hmm.
166,000.
And 1 long sword for 10,000.
170.
10 grand for that one as well.
Yeah.
176,000. Gold.
And then Tish, I believe, is half, so she's.
I can show you that. I've written all
Yeah,
down
okay.
as well.
This is for the week spending now because it's been a week basically.
Yeah, fine. If you total that up, I'll total this up. I'm going to double check the numbers more than anything with what you've said there.
Yeah.
Or
So
did you do it
you're
straight away
paying-
there?
What?
Did you do it or
I
did
did
you
it
do it
in my
mentally?
mind.
Nice. What did you say top of your head?
176,000.
Okay, so fucking hell. 5 times 12.
That's insane numbers.
No, that's not nice. No, dick face. It's 5,000.
Why do you think work has started giving away most of his money? Like, I haven't been earning as much as him. But I've just started going, I don't need the money. Work has never done it for the money.
Yeah.
It's just that he has money, so he might as well spend it.
Yeah,
type
my
thing.
character doesn't really care much for the money, but it might be exciting that she suddenly has it.
We should
It's gonna be about it.
we should wait till Viola comes back with her research before we do anything though.
We did say that we were going to help get to Diana with her thing with the slaves as well.
Oh right, I thought we dealt with that.
No, we helped her deal with one part of it. We said that we're going to help her deal with all of it, which goes all the way up to...
So your employees cost 8
Family
gold for
head.
the week, which is like
part.
nothing. From the fire giants... Oh, are you still writing stuff down?
60,000. Sorry.
Yeah.
176. There you go.
Stu, at some point during the week, Rook would have sent an anonymous letter with 20,000 gold to the
Minus
Fighters Guild.
Okay.
So we're saying this is a donation. Use it well.
20,000.
20,000.
Okay.
2. Yeah.
So, 8 gold for your
I have
employees.
taken the 8
Okay.
off now, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one.
You got 4 short and 4 long swords from the fire giants for this month. There's nothing particularly special about them, but they're very artistic-y looking, so you might get collectors wanting them basically.
Artistic.
Derek special one.
Or no, they can just be cheap alternatives to people that can't afford the fancy stuff.
Yeah.
I think I might keep them as they are, yeah. See
And
what
then-
happens now, see how I feel.
Ornate. That's the word for it.
That's the word, yeah, ornate.
And the
Written
fif-
artist.
And the 50 kilograms of, from now on I'm calling it the living alloy, has been delivered.
They're from the giants, aren't they?
No, from the dwarves.
Dwarves, sorry.
Yeah, the 50.
Hide it from
And it was...
Oh no, they're 4 short and 4 long, sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, from the fire giants. They're basic, they do the basic damage, but they're a bit more ornate and pretty looking essentially.
Yeah.
Something that nobles would want,
Cool.
basically.
Yeah,
Like-
And the 50 kilograms of living alloy, which is what I'm calling it from now on, it's
Yeah.
been delivered by the dwarves. I believe it was like 1 gold per 10 gram.
I think so. Did I not write that down as a note?
No, I didn't see it.
Buggers.
So 10 grand.
I say 1 gold per.
And you got 50
10
kilograms,
grams.
so that's what?
Giants
Well,
and
1
weapons.
kilogram is
Yes, dwarves
1,000
alloy,
grams.
7
So
amount.
that's 50,000.
That's
Depends
100
on
gold.
cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't
50,000
actually.
gold.
Yeah.
You said you
No,
said
no,
you
no.
wanted 50 kilograms.
So yes. And how much?
There was 1 gold per 10 grams.
1 gold per 10, so that's 5 gold.
No,
No.
5 kilograms.
5 kilograms.
No, 50 kilograms you got.
50 kilograms, that's 50,000 grams.
50,000.
So that costs 5,000 gold.
5,000 gold. Okay, so minus 5,000 gold. So 50. So how much did I just get from him? Sorry.
A lot. Oh, 50 kilograms. But don't worry, Derek will be using that.
50 kilograms equals 5,000 gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took him probably 5. No, it took him about 2 kilograms to make the cat. 1 kilogram each for the drum.
Is he using all of my resources?
He's using the living alloy.
He's using the living alloy.
Unless you say otherwise.
Mm. He's used quite a lot on his arms and legs, so that he can stretch his arms and legs, and his face now, so he can do facial expressions. Yeah, so he's probably used about a quarter of the 10 grams you originally had. No, half, sorry.
But I did just get 50 kilograms.
So you've got 55 kilograms right
so
now.
yeah, I've got 55 kilograms left.
Yeah.
Hey, you could make a dragon.
I could make a dragon. I could make whatever the fuck I want.
Well, have Derek make whatever you want.
Yeah.
We'll just
Oh, the last 3 days, let's see what Derek could have done.
Oh
yay. no.
Yay!
Is there any more costs that he needs to know of for the shop?
We'll find out.
As long as he doesn't try and make Ron, like, I don't know what he's going to do with Ron again. Just know.
And actually, I'm going to do it at advantage. Oh, fucking God, for Christ's sakes. As the DM, I'm having fun. Okay. I said I was going to roll them there. Too late. I had a 17, 19, and then 18. So they were all quite high. But that was at advantage. So the 17 was first, 19, so that's the big one, and then the 18. So for the 17, he has now... Let's say the living alloy came towards the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
He's used another 5 kilograms out of the 55, so there's 50.
Okay, so there's
And
50
he's
there.
made about 10 drones with guns on them.
Can I control these, Derek?
I can put a chip in your head.
Do
you have
it,
had that
do it.
discussion with him.
You want that thing to put a chip in your whatever a chip is in your head.
That sounds fun.
Oh, you can remote control it, but that's boring.
That takes. Can I control them, but they do their own thing?
Oh, there's an autopilot mode. And he presses the autopilot mode and it starts just whirring around him. He says, it'll just follow you within 5 feet and then you give it basic commands as an action. So if you say attack as an action, it will attack for you instead of you attacking.
That's the downside. Okay.
But he said, and this is the fun bit, you can use this button, and he presses a button, and right now, obviously he's outside, because otherwise he wouldn't do it outside, and about the 10 drones, plus the 2 drones that he made previously, all fire at the same time.
Wow.
Oh.
It's like, this button does this as an action, and you press the button, and
what
then...
guns have they got?
Oh, some of them have got rifles, some of them have got pistols. This one, Mittens is special. So do you know how his favourite spell, lightning bolt? So what happened was, I was thinking, what if I put lightning bolt in a bullet, and then I realised that it would make the velocity of the bullet really fast. So then what happened really was, I think I made a new weapon, and it goes, it's a really super fast bullet, and I'll show it to you, he says, it's really fun. And then he says, Mittens, and you hear, Meow. And he's like, fire, and you hear like this, like, no, it's not more like, it sounds like a whirring,
Railgun.
and then like it goes outside of Finn Razda, just outside the disc, and you hear like a, and he goes, and it happened probably within a round, so it travelled probably 2 or 3 miles in a round.
A man in a rifle would be Phil.
He said the drawback is it's got a lot of ricochet, but Mittens, he casts a spell to make himself really heavy, and then it goes whoa. So Mittens has got a new gun.
It's nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good. Yeah.
I don't want any of the drones yet.
That's good.
Make them better.
Okay, I mean, I was going to work on something else. I've got
What else
another
you
2
working
days.
on? Hang on, what else are you working on?
And well, give me another day.
Alright.
And this is day 1.
Oh,
It
this is
says I've
only
only
day
got
one.
2.
Alright.
Wait a minute, I've only got 2 hands. What if I had more
No,
hands?
Derek, don't give yourself more
Wow,
arms.
Derek.
It's just not going to be good
Wow.
for you. No.
I thought you wanted more work done.
Absolutely, but giving himself more arms would be detrimental to
I
him.
have.
Because it would mean that he'd need time to figure out the fuck to work them and use them.
It took me 5 minutes to learn to walk.
And you're
but
doing really good at the facial
Yes,
expressions.
but having 4 arms is like, no,
Only
don't.
4?
Just don't do it.
I have a better idea. And he walks off and he doesn't tell you what the idea
Oh
is.
god, Derek, what's the idea?
Day 2.
By short sword.
He comes out like Dr.
Short
Octopus.
bow.
He comes out like Dr. Octopus.
Short swords, long swords. From the fire giants. Short sword, long sword. There's 2 different swords.
No, but I sold.
Yeah, sold. So you sold
Yeah.
12 daggers, 6 scimitars, 6 short, 1 great axe, and 1 long sword.
Don't get any short swords already on there.
What? You've got no short swords?
No short swords originally on there.
Well, short bow
I have
then.
short bows.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I just wrote
Sorry.
the word
Yeah,
short.
Yeah, sorry,
I was
go
talking-
carry on. Sorry,
Day 2.
For me, I want to be sure that I'm doing the right things.
He was like, okay, I made the drones a little better, he says.
What did you do?
Well, you said make them work on their own, but if I give them autonomy, they'll just be shooting everywhere. So I was like, how do I stop stuff from shooting everywhere? And the solution came to me. They don't shoot.
Right.
So the autopilot mode, it'll move around next to you, and it just moves around, but it doesn't shoot. And then you press the button, and then it automatically shoots.
Okay.
But it keeps shooting.
No.
So it's 1 action, and then it just shoots every round.
That's better.
What does it shoot though?
It depends on the. I've got a rifle one. I've
No,
got
no,
a
no,
pistol
no.
one.
Like, not what, like who? What does it shoot at?
Oh, when in autopilot mode, it'll shoot whatever you point at. So the
So
action
if my gun is pointing at something,
it'll shoot there.
it'll shoot the thing it's pointing.
I'm using the weird glassy eye things to discern what. Yes. Yeah, I made little things. Do you not see? And he gets a glass eye out, and he's like, he then gets like what looks like an iPad, and you can see the eye like that. And he's like, yeah, I attached.
So useful.
I said,
I
attached.
want one of those.
I said, attached. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
that
use it for
last
blind people, but then somebody said
Yeah,
it was a
last
bad
week.
idea.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see him bring that out.
No, Kira was the only one who saw it.
That's really cool.
So, and then you said not to give myself hands, but then I was like, no, but you didn't say not to give me hands.
What did you create?
Well, the turrets now have hands, and Mittens now can make hands with his living ally. So Mittens goes meow, and like a small hand like appears on his back. Like this.
Whoa.
And it starts stroking himself.
He scratches his ears with the hand coming over his back.
It's like
What's a cat going to do?
the laziest cat in the world? Doesn't want to pull his back leg to its ear. Just
Oh.
throws a hand.
You know what? No, fuck it.
And then, but the turrets also start growing arms out of themselves. Just that I have to control that with my thing. Though.
Good, because it's really fucking freaky.
Yeah, but now watch this then.
Oh, no.
And he nothing happens, but the drones start moving towards Kira,
Oh,
and then the hands slowly pick her up.
What are you doing? Why? No! Ron! Ron!
oh God,
I'm gonna
no.
start speaking in Draconic
Ron.
for Ron.
Ron goes, yes, ma'am.
Help!
It's like, I thought this was a normal thing.
No! This has to stop.
No, little people don't fly.
Ron, please get me off. This is all in Draconic.
No.
I don't speak it.
The dragon will start not hitting, but with the snout he starts pecking at Derek basically.
Oh no.
Careful, Ron.
No.
Derek, make this stop.
He goes okay, and the hands let you go.
Okay, Ron, we can stop.
But you're about 10 feet in the air. But you just start hovering.
Yeah, I'll start hovering at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
And then I'll land.
Oh, when did you get them?
Oh, well, you see, I actually had a coming of age thing. I had a coming of age with the fairies. We had a good time. Good friends.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
it was a gift.
Who from?
The fairies. Had a good time.
Yeah, right.
And then he was like, yeah, and now so the turrets can grab things, which is fun, and then lift them up and then drop them. I mean, if you can't kill them with bullets, you can drop them from really far up, right? Just pick them up, and then it's like, I saw a watermelon drop on the floor once. That was cool.
How
Well,
strong?
show us.
How strong are they? Can't someone just go?
And hit them all.
Well, each one can pick up about 50 kilograms.
Fucking
Derek.
hell, that's a lot.
Well, no, that's like a halfling in there. So, a halfling gnome. But if you get 2 of them, they can pick up a person. And then if you pick up 4, they multiply. See, they work together.
So they're transformers.
Derek,
Give them that
have
noise.
you
it'll sound
considered
awesome.
giving anything morality or some kind of ethic?
Why would you do that?
Because this is wrong.
Well,
It
I
is.
This is very fun, but I don't know.
I gave the cat individuality. And
Yeah, look what the fuck's wrong with
Well, cats, I guess, are a bit more independent, but
maybe, are you saying I should make something that's a
No.
bit more
No.
loyal?
not
No.
loyal, just morally correct.
Oh, fucking hell.
All this hurting is not
No.
We're starting to run out of room.
I could do that, he says. Morally correct thing. Got it. I can do that.
Oh, God. I
Do you
think
know
I
what
need
morals
to
are,
take a
Derek?
bigger plate.
It's, well, I know killing is wrong.
Yeah.
In the right
And I-
circumstances.
I know if people touch you, you go, no.
Unless you ask them nicely first and then they say yes.
Yeah.
And Derek creates a self-aware robot that realises the root of all problems stem from humanoids, and they rise up and kill everyone.
That's the
That was
Matrix.
That's a Skynet.
I want that.
And that's how the world ends every single time.
Third day. They're all 18. So he comes back and he goes, right, so I put the drones and the turrets and growing hands to one side, and I did a new project.
Oh god.
What have you done?
So I was working on my circuitry, and I didn't come up with anything morally correct, but it's not morally corrupt either. It's a tool.
You're a tool. What?
It's Derek.
It's
Yeah.
a joke.
It's not fun.
It's a joke.
I don't know why he gives you the time of day.
Derek is a lovely individual.
I mean, you said he was irritating the other day. Don't you try and get a fucking good side now. You said he was irritating. Regardless of being in a good way or a bad way, you said he was fucking irritating. And you're giving me shit about calling him a fucking tool.
Suddenly the NPC's got 20 turrets and everyone's scared.
I'm not. I called him a fucking tool. I'll blow him to shit if I got him.
Okay, so I
Put
made
one hole in him and he's fucked.
I made two things. He said,
Oh, no.
so I don't personally have affection for them, but I saw people like dogs.
You didn't.
Yeah, I made a dog.
Oh, so that you did the loyal thing as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the dog comes out and it goes, bark bark.
Did,
I am a dog.
did you do anything with a poker or a furnace yet?
No, that's too complicated for me. And he goes, no, so I made a dog.
Okay, so when you're doing something useful.
And the dog goes, I am useful. I am a tool.
I don't like this magic technology.
This is really exciting,
Do you
but I'm
need
not
both?
sure about if it's
Yeah.
right.
What's the dog called?
I didn't give him a name. And the dog goes, my name's Dog. And he's like,
Nice.
no,
it's
you're a
not.
dog.
You should call
You
him
are
something
a dog.
alphanumerical.
So he's dog one.
No.
Did you?
Derek's evolving so much to take over the world if he likes.
And dog one. Yes, I am dog one now. That
call it
input
Alpha.
has been put in. I am dog one.
I think it's something like K9.
Alpha or better.
K9.
Yeah, K9 and
Please, like Dr. Who.
Yeah, K9 is, yeah, that's cool.
Ah,
Yeah, that's
affirmative
cool.
Dark Master.
And then
Yes!
We're nerding here. Please let it happen.
and then he was like,
We're nerding in this corner, please.
so he can carry things for you. He can
I
dance.
really
He
like
can
that too.
sing. And he goes, I can sing and dance. I am dog one.
No, K9.
Yeah, K9.
K9 one.
No, just K9.
K9 one.
No,
K9.
no.
K9's a teeth, he says.
Yeah, but you're also known as K9. That's your name.
No, I'm Derek.
And it's spelled
I'm talking to the dog yet.
it's spelled K.
Dash 9.
I don't want. I don't get
DMs
it.
have
Well,
nice
that's
things.
what we're calling you. What?
DMs don't want us to have nice things.
Well, he created Derek for
So
us.
essentially he's made a robotic dire wolf that can speak common.
Dire wolf.
Yeah.
Come to bed.
Big then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah, he's.
I was talking down and then like that. Hello, Doctor.
I don't think I'm talking down to a dog.
It's twice your
I'm
size.
small anyway, so I mean, I was talking down.
Yeah, it's
there.
us, I'm
And
bigger
then
than
all of
us.
a sudden, I was like, fucking hell, I can ride you into battle!
It's like 6 feet tall.
What's the size we compared to my dragon at the minute?
Fucking massive.
Your dragon is about the same size
Yeah.
as you, height wise. It's probably double your size. It's about 3-4 feet tall.
Nice.
You got a fucking direwolf construct.
He goes, yeah, I put a gun in his head, and he goes, I am dog. I have a gun in his head.
Derek,
It's definitely K9.
Derek, that's
No, no,
not
no, no.
morals.
He protect, but most importantly, he
That's not
attack.
morally correct, Derek.
He goes, no, look, watch. And he says, "Okay, you dog, do the thing." And he goes, wag, I wag my tail, I am happy. See? He's happy.
Derek.
Can I,
I mean,
can
he's
I
not-
make a saddle for it?
He's like, well, I already
I'm
made a
serious.
saddle.
Derek,
Oh, cool.
can Ron
Well-
get some armour?
What?
Can Ron get some armour? If
Ron?
you're making a saddle, can I also get some armour for Ron?
He's a
Ron-
dragon. He's made
Yeah.
out of armor.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Ron's gonna grow up and you're gonna grow out.
But
the
he can have
quite
more
quickly.
armour.
No, no,
what did
I
you say?
have. No, I gave you a saddle. Remember?
Oh.
I gave you I gave Mittens a saddle to ride Ron, but because you're too big to ride him.
But I'm not too big to ride.
I don't want to ride Ron.
Oh, K9 is do the thing, K9. Here he goes. Bark, bark. Pets me. I like to be pet.
I would summon my dog, but that would require me to kill the other dog. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I like the warmth of the touch. Yes, I enjoy it very much.
Are you a good dog?
I do not understand the concept of good. I am just a tool.
Derek!
He detect, but most importantly, he attack.
Derek, I asked for morals! He doesn't even know he's a good dog!
Well, he doesn't know he's bad either. I can't give him autonomy unless I give him divine energy. And the
It's-
last time that happened, and the cat's like, meow.
But it's important.
That's essentially the cat equivalent.
It's
of
important to know that a
finger.
dog is a good dog.
I just
All
love
dogs are
how
good
The
dogs.
cat is still superior to the dog.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm riding that thing into battle.
Ooh.
That's fine.
Okay. And
Riding
then,
that thing.
he's got a gun in his hand and he can fly too.
I'm fucking. I want a saddle and I want a fucking saddle pronto.
Oh, but you can't ride him.
Why?
Because
DM doesn't want
no. Don't you need combat specialists? He's like riding a pony in it. I can make a pony.
Pony would be useless at this point. You created the dire wolf. Why not just
Derek.
create? No.
I think he needs.
Make
I think he needs
unicorn.
proficiency on land vehicles to even. Do
So a horse with a horn.
and that
No,
requires
an
not
actual
having been
unicorn.
started where you're riding it.
that can fire a unicorn like a missile.
Why would we want this?
Why miss out? Oh,
Alright, so anyway, that was the first thing I made is the dog. And then, it's morally, it's loyal. So, but I didn't work on the moral thing because it
Derek, you didn't listen to anything which I said.
No, another thing.
I think at this point, Kylan will just walk out. Probably just
Nope.
yeah,
Nope.
Well,
go see
Nope.
Miss Wonder to see
Nope.
actual magic.
Kira's stubborn. She wants
Where's
to
my
win stuff.
girlfriend?
Oh.
I made another thing as well.
Oh god.
Oh no, it's not going to be morally correct, is it, Derek?
No, but I'm working on it. I've started. He says, come into the shop and I'll show you.
Where is my shop?
I want to
Yeah.
see this, yeah.
It basically looks like an automaton, basically. It's like so I've done the exoskeleton, he says, and what we need to do is I need to work on circuits really hard, and then I need to somehow make it think for itself correctly and morally and loyally, and not use any divine energy.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm still working on that.
Make it bloodthirsty.
No!
No, we need to make it morally correct.
Yeah.
I think I agree with the druid.
Wow.
You can just send it into the...
No.
I'm
No.
done. I just say as I walk out. Nope, not it. No, nope.
Nope.
I'm gonna see if Diana needs help.
Whole
with
bottle
the
of
slaves.
So,
if it has good morals, but it's bloodthirsty, it will only kill nasty people.
according to you,
Bloodthirsty is not a good trait in anything.
I think I gotta agree with the druid this time.
The dog goes bark bark.
I'm gonna go pet the dog. You're a good dog.
Ah, it's a good boy!
Oh yeah, you fucking.
Yeah. What a good boy!
I feel the warmth, yet I do not feel any warmth.
Shut up.
Oh.
Just enjoy it.
Dog, do you like to play fetch?
Oh no.
Oh, I see people play fetch. They throw things. I catch. I good. Yes.
Excellent. I'm glad you like playing fetch. We're going to use this in battle.
Yes, you are a good dog.
Fetch is fine.
No!
I like that. But the automaton, no, that's an abomination.
So I should stop that.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It sounds okay.
No.
Fetch it with guns.
No, it sounds okay.
No. Someone from Neverwinter came down to Waterdeep once with one of these, but it was much bigger and it was all. What? Oh
Yeah.
wait, yeah, from where I'm originally from. They came.
That's where I
down-
got the idea from.
How did you get it from Neverwinter?
I didn't get it from Neverwinter. They're working on it here. Yeah, they
Remember
got.
Alfred from the tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember what Diana did to it?
Oh shit!
No.
They are.
Diana's
You
not
should
right.
really stop.
No, I'm not doing it. The Smithler family's doing that, but they're doing it so they can get inside.
Yeah, but you should stop doing that.
You could do whatever you want, Derek.
Not this though.
You are your own person, Derek.
Shut
I am my own person.
But this is wrong.
No, as long as it's morally okay, then it's fine.
It's a complete abomination.
Unfortunately, the Green Enchantress
What about
is
the
gone
cat?
now.
That's the cat's lovely. The cat's nice, and the dog is.
Yeah. Yes.
The dog
yes.
is a work in progress.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
No, he's a good dog.
I mean, the cat and the dire wolf, they're brilliant. But that's where you should stop.
No.
You don't have to give it its own feelings.
You don't have to make
morals.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, but
You
if
could
I
make
make
it
it,
like a suit of armour that sort of augments the wearer mechanically.
No.
oh, you can do that already.
They don't.
And he says, oh, he turns to you and goes, "Come here."
Okay.
And he says, "Oh, hang on a second." And he points at the automaton, and then like the living alloy sort of drips off it, and then he goes, and then the alloy starts crawling up your leg.
Creepy.
Yeah.
And essentially, what you're wearing is plate armor.
Nice.
Yeah, I do that
Does
already.
it do the walking for me now?
I mean, and he puts his finger, and then he makes the living alloy make you walk. So he's doing it.
Oh, it's like puppeting.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Creepy. I want out, Derek.
Okay, I thought it was a bad idea. This is why I showed.
just like the automaton is
No, this is
about.
why I showed you. No, but the other guys, they're making big ones that you can go in and ride.
Derek's a low-key Dr. Frankenstein.
Which is ironic because Derek's like the wolf
He
from
is.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's good for you to do this, Derek.
Bark.
Derek, no,
Good
Derek.
dog.
Derek.
No,
No, not this.
not the
Not
top.
this
But you said morally correct, and the only thing morally correct I think of is people.
I mean, not even people are morally correct. There's a lot of bad people in this world.
And what's morally correct then?
Sorry?
There's a lot of bad people.
Yeah, but I'm not going into that. There's a lot of bad people in this world, and if the wrong people get a hold of this and you're not able to stop them, or it listens to them, then bad things can
Yeah,
happen.
but I can have more friends.
I mean, you could have more friends, but it's not going to be good.
Mitten's my friend.
Mittens is your friend.
Yeah.
You're right. Congratulations.
And the dog doesn't. I don't think the dog comes.
But Derek,
no,
Derek, we're
yeah.
talking about the automaton, not these two.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same.
It's not.
Yeah, it is. The dog is.
No, it's not, because
Yeah.
you want that thing to be completely sentient of its own rights.
Yeah, so's the cat.
Yeah, the cat is small and can do little things.
It's not sentient to us. It's somewhat
Exactly.
sentient.
Somewhat. You want to make this one full sentience,
Yeah.
No,
This is a good thing though, right?
it's not a good thing.
He's looking at Kira to be like, it's good, right?
Does Derek have an idea about the cat? And
What?
See it?
does
See
Derek
it
have an
from
idea
the
about the
point
cat?
of view of it could fall into the wrong hands. Imagine
He's
what
probably got a general
would happen
idea.
to the world and the people if it fell into the wrong hands.
See, out of character, it's difficult because Kira hasn't. She might know that some people are morally incorrect, but she hasn't experienced it as such. So it's Kira's starting to step out of this one a little bit. A little uncertainty. I don't know.
And I
I
haven't
don't
gone
know.
against anything Derek's done until now, until he started
Ugh.
creating an automaton.
Hi guys,
The automaton is bad.
what'd I do then?
Well,
That-
I
not
believe
that.
you should do what you want, and that's that.
So make more friends, got it.
No.
You don't have to make things to be
Derek,
friends with things.
Derek, why didn't you just help us?
You
find
didn't have to make
Moradin?
me, and I'm your friend.
Oh, Moradin she's not paying attention right now.
Why aren't you paying attention?
She's trapped somewhere. I can't talk to her.
I get that, but you've been here now a while and you've created a few things. Surely that makes the Tinkerer realise that you're here.
No, because technically I am her.
Bollocks. I tried.
Right, okay, so the other thing that I made, well, yeah, the automaton
Oh, so you
and the
made
dog.
3 things?
No, I made 2 things, and but the automaton seems to be a failure.
It's not a failure. You're on the right track. You're absolutely doing on the right track to doing good things, but it's not a good thing to do. Don't do it.
Oh, okay.
Well, don't confuse him.
I mean, that's what I do. That's why you stopped doing.
Oh, Derek.
Poor Derek.
So I can give the dog the saddle, but I'm not sure if you can ride it because you don't. You're not. Do you know how to ride things? I'm basically asking, do you have combat proficiency in riding?
I mean, I can learn, right?
Eventually, but now you don't.
Fuck.
Yeah.
If you said you were doing that, I wouldn't be doing that. Yeah, bad person.
I'm not
Future
sure.
thing to
I'm
do.
not sure if you can get that from a feat. I think it's only.
Yeah.
No, because there's a combat mounted
Soul
feat.
feat.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
There's combat mounted
Yeah,
feet.
handbook, there is a mounted, yeah.
No.
No one ever takes it because you never fucking need it. It's one of those.
No, I'm taking it for a fighter halfling who rides a direwolf. And
It's
going to dual wield
It's a
lances.
very good feat, by the way. Basically,
yeah.
it gives you attacks advantage. Basically.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
But when you're ever going to use it in a normal,
Paladin, fine steed.
Fine, great.
when do you ever
Yeah.
ride that much?
If you've had combat and fine
Mm.
steed all the time.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
implied.
Or like I said, a halfling riding a direwolf with twin lances.
No.
It's not concentration, is it? The steed thing.
No.
You summon it a lot.
So you
an
can
hour.
no.
No, you summon it 10 times
definitely.
constantly.
Oh.
It
So
just
you
takes
can
an hour
you can
to
ride it
cast.
as the paladin, and also if you're riding it and you cast a single target spell on yourself, it affects the horse as well. So you can haste yourself when the horse gets haste.
Yeah, and then there's fine, great steed where you can choose a bunch of other things that aren't horses. That
Yeah, like
Griffin.
griffins and Pegasuses and stuff like that.
Bless you.
Right. Okay. So yeah, and I don't know what to do.
Let's put it this way: work will probably take fine steed if it's on the cleric list.
It's only paladin.
It's a
Yeah, so
That sucks.
paladin.
yeah. So work isn't taking fine steed.
I think we should wrap it up. Well, it's 9:30, and I think Lorelai's going in the next. Oh, she gone? Is she?
No, she's gone to the loo. No,
Oh, right,
the
okay.
stuff is still there.
Oh, right, okay. We'll basically keep playing until
Yeah.
Lorelai goes, basically. But I think that wraps it up really for.
Wrapped up the week off.
Yeah, I'd probably try and find if Diana is wanting any help with the slaves as they walked out.
For the week, for the second half of the week, Diana is actually with Jules, and they've kind of made a half agreement that if she helps him, he helps her.
Mm-hmm.
So with his help, they don't know who he is, so he can approach them a lot easier, and
Okay.
nobody suspects the drunk Satan to kill you.
The drunk buddy might.
Yeah.
What?
What?
The drunk Satan might
Yeah.
try to kill us.
Not you. The slavers.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
working with Diana now. But the agreement they have apparently is if he helps get rid of the slavers and throw over the Blacken family, he wants her to help him find the others from his party from this plane.
Right. Cool. Okay. Holy crap.
But they don't technically need help.
Okay.
She said she only needed help because they were avoiding her, but now she's got an indefinite partner, basically.
Fair enough.
Mm. I mean, you can continue helping if you like.
Or is there anything else to do?
We don't have any raids going on, she says. I'm afraid we're in the middle of actually planning one, but nothing for the next couple of days.
No, is there anything else going on? As in,
Oh, and Finrazda.
yeah, that we could do as a group. I mean, like,
So Amy's setting up shop. She's set up a shop on the 4th disc. Nikki Cox is now on the 4th disc.
Hey.
I think that's about it, really.
Nikki, you know your cigarettes. Can I have a look at one?
Yeah, go on, yeah. It's good, isn't it?
Can I like sniff it and
Yeah.
all that?
It doesn't smell very good.
No, but it smells like a cigarette with no
Yeah.
smell and lit and all that.
Yeah.
Can I determine if those ingredients are in this world?
Oh, nice.
Roll nature disadvantage.
Do you know this? Help me. I've got a business proposition.
Yeah, I'm happy to check.
Yeah, so roll just straight up rolls.
Yeah.
It's
What's
disadvantage
your
with the help.
nature at?
+6, so that was an
Oh,
18.
Yeah, fuck yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, I could do that. It's an 18.
you know it's a plant, and you can get the general vibe of it, and you know things are similar, but something on this plane probably doesn't exist. But you know similar things.
Okay, Nick, I think we may be able to make this.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll cost, unfortunately.
Can I?
But,
Can
But
I?
I've got an infinite supply from Amy.
I mean, how infinite is that, though?
Nah, it's got strings
Can I-
attached.
can I
It's
tell us-
Exactly, and this one will have no strings attached, other than the monetary value, I mean. But, I mean, friends,
Are
scratch
you
my back,
literally-
scratch your back.
Are you inventing the cigarette so one, you can get an informant,
I,
and two, you can slowly get Finraza to become smokers?
yeah. Can,
You are literally going to spread cancer everywhere.
yeah. Can Kira tell that
Sorry,
this
not
is?
sorry.
Can Kira tell that this is basically carcinogenic?
Yes.
Yeah. Can we not?
but you can help me, right?
This is not going to be good. This is not a
It's
good
only for
herb.
Nikki. But Nikki already does it.
Only for Nikki.
Only for
Only
Nikki.
for Nikki.
Only for Nikki, but you'll have to teach me how to make it too.
Promise that you're not going to use this for anything else other than
Only
Nikki.
for Nikki.
If it's going to go any other way, I will set Ron on you.
Oh, no, I'm scared. I'll put a bullet through that thing.
You could always roll insight and bluff.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, true.
Hmm.
True.
Bluff, you mean deception.
Yeah.
What's that? 8. Plus.
19 plus.
Yeah, I got 8.
Yeah, 19 plus.
So you can't discern if he's lying or not, basically.
No, basically you believe him.
Yeah.
No, it's not
Only-
necessarily that. The character could still not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're more willing, but you don't necessarily have to give
Yeah,
in.
but it's still bad, so.
Is it? It's only for
It's
Nikki.
carcinogenic.
I mean, I understand all this. I mean, they do it on my world.
Why do you want to make Nikki?
Only for Nikki.
Why
Like
do you wanna make
she
it
just said, the ones that Amy gets are of strings attached to. I want to give her some that aren't strings attached.
I'll make them for Nikki.
But I need to know how they're made.
Well, I can give them to Nikki.
I mean, absolutely, but I'll certainly learn my own way if you don't show me. I will sit there for hours learning. And it's not going to be too
Fine,
hard
as
to
you let me
figure
stay
out.
at your shop, I will show you.
Oh, you're welcome to stay anyway, so.
Yeah, but just because we've had a nice exchange then. So fine.
I'm learning
She's
how to
just,
make
she just
cigarettes.
sees us unhappy.
No, of course she's not. I'm going to learn how to make cigarettes and I'm going to sell them to Nikki and then I'm going to make fuckloads of backlogs.
Yeah, but this is at the end of the week now, so
Oh, yeah,
you've only
but-
just come up with the premise.
I'm probably going to employ someone to do it. That's why I want to learn.
I mean, Jim the farmer making some rolls.
No, not Jim, someone else.
Can I try and make them in such a way where they're like
little
less
bit
carcinogenic,
healthier.
like like more kind of
Yeah.
let's say herbalist
Are you
blend.
literally trying to invent the vapor?
No, not necessarily the vapor, but more of a
Menthols.
herbalist blend and less carcinogenic.
I'm okay with that.
Roll
So-
a nature tag.
So
basically marijuana.
so basically my own 11. I'm a halfling. I should have pipeweed.
Yeah,
Um,
that's probably true.
But the way that you make them, there's no.
I like how most
using-
D&D groups devolve into actually just making drugs. I'm not even kidding. Half the Tumblr posts I read of groups talking about D&D stuff they do in D&D.
So-
Half them are the bullets going crazy.
Like
I mean,
introducing
mush-
everything.
As I keep making
People
each
making
batch, can I
drugs.
improve my? Can I try and improve my blend?
Let's
I will
just
make my
say
own
at the
blend.
end of the week you come up with the concept in your head, but you don't start making them.
Sorry.
But on that nature check, you realise with the ingredients that you have, there's no possible way to not make them 100% safe. So there'll always be that element of
That I can make my own blend. Still
yes.
With other.
So it can be a little safer.
Cool. Nikki, try this.
So that she's done the concept. This is the
Yeah,
prototype.
This is
basically.
the, yeah.
Tastes like shit. She goes.
Is it smoother though?
I'll be working on it.
It tastes like burnt grass. She says.
Alright, well, give us a time and we'll improve
It's a
it.
shame the Green Enchantress is gone because she could probably grow something.
What about the druids that we've got with us?
I can do it. I can do this.
The
Well,
dryads are
use-
gone as well.
Dryads, they
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
Bastard.
I can try and grow something.
Okay.
I'll be determined. I'm gonna make this better.
Sweet, we're making drugs.
I'm not even joking. Half the D&D groups do eventually.
I will be
between-
renaming it to Pipeweed when I do master my blend.
At the end of the week, Amy will call you for another meeting, which we'll go over the next session because you don't have long, do you?
Yeah, I've got to run.
Yeah, I literally took too much of your time then.
Oh, I've got to run, but it's worth it.
So the final thing that'll happen is
It's worth it.
all 5-year-old perception.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
No, 10. Shit. My
18 plus 24.
24.
9.
No.
Yes.
18.
I haven't rolled higher than 10 today.
Oh, no.
So
Aw.
you two rolled above 15, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, 24.
So let's just say you notice it by overhearing people talking, but you instantly notice it. You guys are randomly walking through Finrasda as you do, doing your daily things throughout the week. You overhear like a newspaper stand trying to sell newspapers. Read all about it. Towards the end of the week, you hear something about attack on the dwarves.
No!
Live.
Yeah.
No! Oh, they're not scoring any
Do you
injuries.
say it?
And then you.
Yes.
What? Attack on
The
the
dwarves
door?
have been attacked.
But
Yeah.
that's what I seen in my... we need to go to the dwarves, guys.
There's,
Well, let's find out what Amy wants. Well, Viola wants first.
I mean,
the fact that
but
I
the
agree.
newspapers basically says, and from the sounds of it, there was no evidence left.
none left.
Yeah, basically a whole town. Well, it's between a town and a city was wiped out basically of existence.
Anybody?
No evidence.
No evidence.
Oh, God.
You know, we have so much to do.
Yeah.
Well, we've first of all got to talk to Viola.
Yeah.
She's
I've got to get to the Feywilds. I
You
have a
gotta get to
meeting.
your bus.
I'm going to get to the Midlands, aka the bus.
Fuck the buses.
At this point, I don't care.
Oh, it does feel like that, yeah.
Is everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
Oh, very.
Like you said, just send the questions and
I'll send off PM you on Discord.
yeah, okay.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. Any other questions? These are yours, Dan.
Oh, you had my pencils.
Yes, it did.
Thank you very much for the pencil, because I couldn't find mine because Stuart stole them.
Oh.
Borrowed them.
Stole them.
I'm the DM. I don't borrow. Oh wait, we're still recording. Bye everyone.
Bye.